Oh dear.
Choo-choo, Thomas!
I got temperature yet?
Oh no, it's not on yet. I'd not selected it, so it wasn't actually visible to anybody. So I'd not selected it.
Don't select it.
I didn't select it. I'm doing commentary.
Oh, I don't know if I like this setup.
That's a shame, because it's just safe.
Oh shit.
Don't hit the sausage curves, I'd advise.
I agree with that. And if there's anything Sutty's going to hit, it's going to be...
Guess who's racing?
Oh.
In a league race around Laguna Seca tonight?
Champ.
Gary.
Our good friend, Nash. Because for some reason, his videos still come up on my YouTube. And he's left the Lamborghini with the looks of this.
What's he in now?
McLaren. So he's a sheep.
I normally drive this with Logic 2029 default, or do I do Sutty wheel? I do this every time.
He's a sheep. He's second. What's this? So it's free practice.
Right. Let's have a look.
What lap times?
1:23.3 is his best. But his last was a 24:1.
Guy's wank.
I'll be miles slower than that. I'm well out of practice.
You're fucking old.
Oh, I'm definitely that, mate.
Their track is fast, 37 degrees track temp. Whereas we've got green, 9 degrees track temp.
And I guarantee the Pro-Ams are going faster.
What's the quickest time?
Where's the steering thing? I think it changed the
24.0. So the fastest time in his lobby is a 23.2.
Choo-choo.
He's now gone to third. You are dog shit.
Are the fast lap times like?
24.0? Yeah, they're alright.
Yeah. Let's get some laps. I need to get some tyre temperature.
Choo-choo, Power Rangers!
Just make sure you've got pressure, I'd say, Sutty.
Yes.
So it is only 9 degrees, so as long as you're at 27.6, whatever it's meant to be. Right, shall we go in comms box, Daniel?
Choo-choo, Tony.
Is Argent sperming?
Not yet that I can see.
Caroline Argent sperm!
Sometimes he misses the first race though, doesn't he?
No, he's been in for all the first races. Yeah.
No, he's missed a couple, you dickhead.
He's only missed 1 week.
Right. I need to remember not to hit the sausage.
Unplug the wheel.
Go on, ride it like a fucking gay boy.
Ride it like a stallion.
Why is it automatically putting me as DJ Phil?
Oh God.
What do you mean?
Wide.
What do you mean as DJ Phil?
Go on, Mr. Nissan.
I loaded in and the first car it puts me in is DJ Phil.
Oh. Because you're going to be giving him Chevy setups.
Shut the fuck up, you fucking dopey prick.
How many people are going to bin at the corkscrew?
Everybody.
Your mum.
Considering you start 6th, I reckon people are in danger of being hit at the corkscrew.
Graham hasn't set a lap time yet. Let's watch him, shall we? Come up behind Nissan. Oh, into the right-hander. He's a pussy. He wouldn't drive with... Oh! Oh!
Oh, God.
I bet you won't send it into turn 1.
I'm a bit far back.
No.
Or am I?
The old Sutty would have done that.
Can you all hear me okay?
Get some time back.
Wait, he's just crossed the pit line, Matt.
Who crossed the pit line?
Matt, Graham.
Oh. Well, why does that say that?
I should probably turn the Power Rangers off.
You think?
Oh, God. She was Larry.
She is Larry, like Matt's mum.
Oh, sausage curb. Oh, what? There's sausage curbs everywhere. Oh,
On the apex of every corner.
Oh, God, this is not going to be good for Sutty. I wonder if I can get unscathed and not hit any. What do we reckon?
No.
There's not even one here, look.
Yeah, and that's the worst one.
I know.
Right,
I've
jumping
hit
in
everyone
comms box. Best of luck, Sut.
Oh, I'm going to do shit, mate. I'm going to hit every curve. I can see it already.
Are you ready?
Are you going to be alright eating in there?
Yeah, as long as they keep the noise down. Is it ready, babe? Babe? Is it ready? Bring mine in.
Chew!
Promise.
Oh. I've got hiccups now. Hiccups that turn into butts. Ah!
Oh, yeah. That's hot.
Oh, fucking hell. Matt, scare me.
Bang! Gotcha.
No, you didn't. And now you're going to go really quiet and then just try and scare me out of nowhere.
What are we on? Okay, 5, 4. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to SimPlay Motorsport here for rounds 13 and 14 of this championship. I'm your host, Matthew Duffin, joined in the commentary box by my partner in crime on a Wednesday night. It is Dan Davis. Dan, good evening, welcome. We're back at Laguna Seca. Obviously, you brought us the fantastic GT4 action of last night. But we're here for Pro-Am in the GT3s, a different challenge for some of these drivers. Hope you're well, first of all. Obviously, I know you've been under the weather this past week, so hopefully you're feeling a bit better today. And are we looking forward to this?
Yeah, we are definitely looking forward to a great night's worth of racing here in the Pro-Ams. We have got rid of the sniffles, so yeah, that's to environment. You'll be happy that I'm not sniffing, but instead you might have to be putting up with some hiccups instead. But yeah, hopefully I'll try to shift these as quickly as I possibly can. But yeah, the GT4s last night, Matt, were fantastic, and I absolutely loved it. And guys, if you did miss the action, then once this stream is over, head over to the GT4 video as well and give them a watch, because that was fantastic. 2 sprint races, no pit stops, no nothing, and just flat out racing. But Laguna Seca round 13 and 14 of the season, and got probably one of the most famous corners in racing, the corkscrew. What a challenging circuit, cooler conditions, and the track is struggling to get up to optimum as it's currently sat at green at the minute.
Yeah, I don't believe last night it got up to optimum either, but it was at least 12 degrees throughout the evening. Now, don't forget, this practice session is at 5 in the morning. This is an early morning race, so the sun is still rising as we've pressed drive on somebody. I didn't mean to. I was meant to press the arrow. There you can see the track map, and then just to the right of that, the times. 5 a.m. today, 7 a.m. for the race one, then 5, 6, 7 a.m. for the Sunday day's worth of racing. So it's going to be an interesting one, and more to the point as well, Dan, is it's going to be one to keep an eye on for everybody who is, you know, working on their tyre pressures now, because I noticed come the race 2 hours time from this first practice, it will be that bit warmer. and the track may start to rubber in. The drivers want to be out there, if you ask me, because a green surface, we had a green surface last night, you want to get this track rubbered in as quick as possible. A lot of drivers still sat in the pits.
Yeah, you do. You want to get it rubbered in as quick as possible, and the only way to do that is to be out there on track. But we will skip an hour,
2 hours.
I believe. 2 hours for the race. God, these are going to do my head in if I don't get rid of them quickly. Yeah, as I posted earlier in the social media, this last couple of weeks have been pretty much the same as it's been going all week. It has been the pair of the BSP Racing boys, Max Mulder and Tim Venting, pretty much leading the way in this championship. And Diz has just been struggling ever so slightly to get onto terms with them recently, but we'll see how it hangs on, as both of them finished, I believe, 1 and 3 for the endurance race. So
yes,
yeah,
1 and 3.
They're on a roll at the minute.
They are indeed. We can confirm the endurance result today after the stewards' inquiries have gone through. It was Tim Venting and Dan Davis who won the race, with myself and Gary Leach who come second place. Third place was then Max Mulder and Sky Schundelmeyer, rounding out the podium due to penalties given in the stewards' room after the weekend. So that is your final podium classification. The bonus is we've got some fantastic racing going on tonight in this GT3 series. DJ Phil has said boo, and has that stopped your hiccups, he says in the chat. No, I'm guessing not, DJ Phil.
I'm holding my breath.
Right, so we are here, and speaking of Max Mulder and Tim, who's had a bit on great form, as Dan's just said, BMW could possibly come back in it tonight if we go to that BOP system that kind of gives us a telltale sign of who should really do what in terms of the car. There is a couple of Aston Martins on the grid, one being John Gooday. That would actually lose 1 kilogram of weight, so nothing major for the Aston Martin. The BMW M4, Robert Smith, Sutty Apex, Dean Wasocki, Dennis Hansen, Diz out there as well. On the circuit, they gained 5 kilograms. So again, not a massive amount of gain. So pretty good for the BMW. The Ferrari gained 4 kilograms, so in the similar ballpark as that BMW. There's no Hondas tonight. The Lamborghini would gain, and there is DJ Phil and Paul Williams, the Lamborghini would gain 29 kilograms. And that's the big talking point, Dan. 29 kilograms. And bear in mind, you can only go up to 40 kilos for ballast. That is huge for this Lamborghini, showing its advantage at this circuit.
Oh, just rubbing my hands together, seeing the pace that Peaceful Explosion was doing the other night as well. I'm looking forward to tomorrow night. But yeah, no, obviously that's a big explanation. Obviously a lot of medium speed corners around here at Laguna Seca. Nothing really slow speed or high speed. It's all relatively slow, medium speed corners, other than the corkscrew and probably the first corner and the last corner. But everything else pretty much a flowing circuit. So I'm not surprised the Lamborghini is one of the strongest around here, if not the strongest. But you can never count out the McLaren. You can never count out, obviously, the Ferrari as well. But obviously, the McLaren, though, seems to have an interesting weight.
Yeah, the McLaren loses 3 kilograms. Now, that's interesting for me. We always see, like you say, the McLaren up there with the Lamborghini and the BMW and the Ferrari gaining a lot of weight. So that, to me, would indicate that the McLaren struggles a little bit around here. There's no Mercedes out there on the track tonight. The Porsche 992, for once, gains weight. So for the likes of Justin Winter, Diego Flores, they've clearly got a better car here at Laguna Seca. The Ford Mustang loses 13 kilograms. Now, bar the Bentley, that is the second biggest weight loss out there. So the Ford Mustang, clearly not a real favourite car around here. The Nissan loses 2. So the Nissan's probably 1 kilo favoured around this circuit. Then the McLaren, there is a Honda, sorry, of Cranky Duckhead. That gains 6 kilograms. So interesting to see that the Lamborghini so strong around this circuit, and really not surprisingly the Mustang looks like it could struggle.
Yeah, obviously it's not got long enough straights to really use that weight, the power advantage that it has to good use, but it's clear to see that I think the McLaren's downforce probably lets it down here, and obviously the corkscrew, so you need a car that's able to run high or relatively high to abuse the curbs and be able to still be quite good in the corners. And I think sometimes maybe the Nissan and the Bentley and especially the Mustang are too high, while the BMW probably a little bit better, but it hasn't got that downforce to go with it. So the Ferrari and the Lamborghini, I would say, are probably the two favourites of this one. But don't ever count out the Aston Martin as well. Always seems to be a car that's consistent and good everywhere we go.
It is indeed. So we are now at this Laguna Seca circuit, and there you can just see the sun rising as you come up the hill. Beautiful shot in what must be blinding the drivers almost as they come up the hill. Good evening though to Tracy, Fury's granddad, PM Motorsport, DJ Phil and P Williams, all in the chat, and to everybody else who is currently watching. Thank you all to those who have subscribed in recent weeks, because we are now at 713 subscribers. I looked at the analytics today. 41 days since the start of the season, 46 subscribers gained. So that is absolutely fantastic, guys. Keep that push going. Get that stream shared around. We are, really wanting to make that push to 1,000. But obviously, each milestone of 800, the next milestone, of 800 comes first. Speaking of milestones, Max Mulder in race 2 will make his 100th race appearance tonight in that race 2 race. That is fantastic to see Max Mulder achieve a milestone. And we got the BMW get its
100.
He's only at 100. How crazy is that?
He feels like he's been here forever,
doesn't he? Just 100 race starts for Max Mulder.
The Project Cars Day.
Yeah, bit of Formula 1 as well. But Max Mulder, 100 race starts it will be tonight for him. BMW got its 50th pole position last night, so that was great to see. That got over the mark, but BMW could also get its 50th race win tomorrow night. There was no BMW wins last night, so it could get its 50th pole position, 50th race win tomorrow if it wins all 4 races. And the Nissan, in its first race of the evening tonight, will be on race start number 50. And if you remember back to the very first season of Project Cars, Fury and Emo Guy in that little Nissan, Fury getting a podium at Fuji, I believe it was, in the night race, and we're now sat here possibly looking at eventually of Nissan getting that 50th race.
Wow. That shows that Nissan hasn't been very popular this platform, really, or even Project Cars 2. But I know the Nissan is very popular on Gran Turismo 7, but obviously on ACC and Project Cars 2, not really the car that we thought it would be. And to be honest, I wouldn't assume it being a strong GT racer anyway, because you don't tend to see it a lot in the world GT Challenge and British GT.
No, I think I saw something the other day. GT Asia, there's one, I believe, in that. And it won a race at Suzuka. And it's the first time it's won a race in a GT competition across the world since 2015, might have been 2016. So nearly 10 years ago that it last won a race competitively in one of the GT series around the world.
Which is surprising to see, really, because if you actually look at all the cars that are on the grid, and you've got your McLaren, you've got your Ferraris, you've got your Porsches, and you've got your Astons and so on, it's actually the Nissan that's probably, when it came out, was probably the most fascinating and exciting car that was released back all the way. I can't even remember. I remember when Top Gear brought it out and it first tested it, and all 3 of them found a car that they loved, and the GTR was fantastic. And of course, you'd seen it everywhere. That small little Skyline that it used to be has grown into this monster of a car, and it used to be called the Godzilla as well.
Yeah.
So I'm surprised that it's a big, heavy car. It's like a Bentley. It's like a Mustang, but hey ho, that's how it is, and that's how the cookie crumbles. But it is going up some of the best cars, and usually they're Italian that they're up against.
Now, we don't have Romeo on the grid, who did confirm. Yep, he did confirm. So there is no Romeo on the grid, so everybody gets bumped up a place. And we will be getting the Jackal in race 2. He will be going from the back of the grid if he does join right now. We know the Jackal does a lot of race 2 starts. But your championship standings then are as follows. It is Max Mulder with 678 points left in this championship. Max Mulder leads the way by 44.5 points from Diz. Tim Ventink is P3 with John Gooday in 4th. Richie Michelle, top 5. That is only 86 points covering the top 5 with 113 up for the week. It's going to be an interesting one to see. Justin Winters, P6 from SRM Borough Becks, and it is Sam, Brian Craig, Robert Smith, Paul Williams, Fat Bloke, Mirko Ritchie, Naval Gomez, Diego Flores, Darren Bell, Dean, DJ Phil, Mark Tucker, Hanson, from then Kieran Argent, Cranky Duckhead, Michael, Micro Jays, Graham, John Andrews, Senna from the Jackal, Dean Wasaki, Lund, Andrew Taylor, Nuclear Waste, Romeo Oliver and MB Pitts bringing up the rear. The Constructors' Championship with 1,278 points up for grabs. BSP Racing are 150.5 points clear of the Greasy Bandits Racing, but you can score 213 in a night, so that could be quickly closed. Richie Corser are 270.5 points behind Stage 2 Motorsport, a P4 from Team FBR, Team Merlot, FSO Junior Racing Team. Now, there is another team also on the grid today, Retroactive Racing. Now, the admins have decided that they will not have their points combined. It would have put them P3 in the standings. They only announced they wanted to be a team from this week. They will stay as a team from this week, so they are not scoring points in terms of sorry, they're only scoring points as from now as a team, so they're on 0. In terms of the independent teams, Vorta Racing from Greasy Bandits Racing, Forever Forward Racing, and then BSP Academy of Senna on his own. It doesn't say that under Senna's name, we forgot to add that. We will sort that out for next week. But Dan, it is going to be an interesting race. Good evening to Eckholt in the chat. Who are you tipping for the race 1 win?
I would be looking towards the back for the boys in pink, but I think they're going to find it hard in this one. I think it's going to be difficult to come from the back of the pack, especially on a very tight circuit like this, and very easy to get caught up in incidences. I'm going to go with Senna on this one.
I'm going to go Lund, just to be different.
Lund. I do know Senna is a part of the BSP crew. He has signed with them, so we'll see how he gets on. But he's probably had a few tips from Tin Venting, and he looked all right actually the other night in the GT4s. Bit of classic contact and rough racing, but that's the fun of GT4s. But we'll see how he gets on. But obviously you've gone Lund, I've gone Senna. But it could be absolutely anyone. Could be Graham, could be Michael, could be Arjun, could be even Dean Wasocki.
Could even be Graham Sutcliffe, who is back tonight after having a spell away for a little bit. Right, we're coming towards the final corner. They go 2 by 2 as if they was approaching Noah's Ark, and they're going to come to that final turn now. And you've got Dean on the left, blue and yellow BMW M4, and Bjork Lund and his green and orange McLaren, with Senna in the black and pink McLaren just behind. John Andrews as well alongside him, and the Nissan making its 50th race start on row 3. Michael's had some good pace in recent weeks. What can he do today as we are green and go here for round 13 of the season? It's a great start. Senna bouncing off of Dean as he tries to get from the back of Lund already, and they all come filtering down towards turn 1.
Off.
For the first time tonight, there's a couple of cars off, Dan. I'll let you tell us who in just a moment, because Dean's going side by side with Senna all the way around turn 1 and 2. Dean just a little wide, drops the rear and loses it on his own. He's managed to keep it out the wall. He's going to have to go again, but that puts Senna now right on the back of Bjork Lund, with Sutty in third place. Not really close. Michael's had a moment as well. He's tumbled down the order, and as we try to find the leaders once again, it is Bjork from Senna, from Graham, from Cranky Duckhead. Who was off though, Dan?
It was right at the start. Justin Winter got spun around literally before they even got to turn 1, and Diego Flores is another one that got spun around. But it's Senna attacking the leader now, and Lunda drops behind, and Graham is now attacking. It looked like Dean Wasocki's car there, but Graham's on the attack and trying to follow Senna through as they head up towards the corkscrew for the first time tonight.
Indeed, they do. Sutty gets
Graham gets it done.
Mm-hmm.
Cranky Duckhead going down into P4. John Andrews managing to survive, and DJ Phil making a couple of places, while Arjun's got major damage to the front end of his Mustang. Meanwhile, there's lots of cars slow as Darren Bell is one of the slow ones and hold up everyone else as John Goude's had a big jump. He's the head of that pack.
He has, and Darren Bell's got damage on the rear. That's Justin Winter wide in the background and onto the gravel track then. So he's got work to do at the moment. Mark Tucker, who's got a qualifying ban later tonight. Where did Dean Wasocki drop down to from the start of his race? He's up to 21st, so he's ahead of Michael and Diego Flores and Mark Tucker, but he's got Justin Winter. He's just got past right on his tail, but already it's Senna from Graham and Bjork. Yeah, where's Bjork Lund gone? He's dropped to 10th, Dan. So looking for him on the timing screens behind Cranky Duckhead. He's down to 10th place. He's had a nightmare into his first lap, and that is John Andrews in a wall.
It is John Andrews in a wall. He needs to make sure he returns to track as safely as he possibly can, and which he'll do so. But Senna trying to extend the gap. He's still got Graham though within a second and a half. but already the gaps are pulling out, and yeah, the GT4s were much closer than this, and Tim Ventink is already up into 7th place position.
He's up to 7th place already, is Tim Ventink. This is currently John Gooday, who's just got past S2M Borough Bex. Bjork Lunder's now got to, in fact, no, sorry, Borough Bex has got on the rear of Bjork London. That was a wiggle in the background for Darren Bell, and his drivers are now starting to change places. John Gooday's got ahead of DJ Phil, and he's now on the back of Naval Gomez. Gomez has been overtaken by Tim, so Tim is now up to 6th place. Where's championship leader? And then that of Diz. Diz is down in 13th, Max is 14th. Max won't mind that too much at the moment. It'll be crucial to see his progress, but pit window is open, and this is going to be key to see who will do what in this pit window. Gomez already in, Dan, for an early stop in his Ford Mustang.
Max is pitted.
Max also into the pits, clearly wants to get out of that traffic, but it's Senna from Graham from Cranky Duckhead. Cranky Duckhead in the Honda having a great showing at the minute. Dennis Hansen from Kieran Argent, who's going to look up the inside. Can he hold that tighter line and tuck underneath? No, he can't. And he's got, excuse me, a very fast Tim Ventink in the background approaching on the rear.
He has indeed, and Tim is going to be wanting to clear these cars as quickly as he can, because he'll want to use that track position over Max Mulder while Max is in the pits. He needs to clear as many cars as he can, because it's going to just hurt his strategy if he quits in now. So he's just got to go with the traffic and clear them quickly. Meanwhile, we were talking about the Lamborghini. DJ Phil's having a decent start. He's 8th.
Kieran Argent's bounced over the sausage curb. Tim Ventink, he's through. He's dropped it. He's dropped it. He's hit the wall backwards. Tim Ventink got past Argent. I don't know if he was slightly distracted and that's what made him lose the rear end of the car, but he has tumbled down now to just in front of Paul Williams, and him and Kieran Argent, I don't think there was contact. I do believe Kieran lost it all on the curb, and I think that's just put Tim Ventink off, but damage to the rear of his car, Dan, as you were saying that.
Yeah, Senna now extending the gap to 3 seconds to Graham. Graham will just want to keep using this time to extend the gap between the rest, as Hansen is right on the rear wing of the Cranky Duckhead. And John Goudet, out of all the top contenders, is probably the one best off at the minute. He's 5th at the minute, but we don't know what Max is going to do. He's already cleared Gomez and Richie Michelle. So Max Mulder, the leading pitter, and we'll see where that all folds in later on. Diz into the pits to respond to Max.
Unfolds Borough Bex, Diz and Kieran Argent into the pits. Surprising we didn't see Tim Ventink jump in as well with that damage now maybe to the rear of his car. Here he is on the back of Robert Smith with Justin Winter just behind him. Justin Winter will want to get past as they are battling in the constructors with each other. The Greasy Bandits and the BSP Racing Team currently in a battle in that constructors championship. Oh, and Graham's had a big one then. So what has happened, Dan? Has he hit the wall? No, just gone wide.
No, he's just got very, very wide, but missed his brakes by a country mile, and was very lucky not to hit the wall. So Graham missing the corner by quite a bit there, as Max Mulder is now into the final corner, as Diz is now leaving pit lane. This is going to be close between the two championship contenders. Diz is now gone green. He'll have to take the inside line going into turn 1. And here comes Max around the outside. Can he keep that momentum as Diz goes into the exit of the pit lane and stays in front of Max Mulder, most importantly?
He does stay in front of Max Mulder. Kieran Argent comes out the pits. He's behind Borough Bex. Car 7. That's Lund, who's had another mistake. That is dropping down after the corkscrew. So he's had another moment. He's got his wipers on. There is no threat of rain. The track is up to 11 degrees, but with Graham and John Goudet now coming in. Graham's just gone to the wrong box nearly. Justin Winter also pits. Dennis Hansen still on the rear of Cranky Duckhead. Big shout out to Cranky Duckhead today. The Welshman having a fantastic drive.
He is indeed, just as you catch me in mid-swig of a drink. Lovely. But Robert Smith under some immense pressure right now with signing his new team, and he has got Tim Ventink hunting him down, and right now it's going to be helping Diz out, because while Robert is holding him up, it's allowing Diz to have that undercut, sorry.
Now here comes John Goudet out of the pit lane. Max Mulder and Diz not yet at the final corner. John Goudet off his pit limiter now, and I think a pretty comfortable gap over the other two drivers. Bjork Lund still stationary. Justin Winter is exiting the pits. Where is Graham? Graham did not complete his pit stop. So he's got to go back in.
He has got to go back in. Oh, Graham. Graham.
Never fails to disappoint, does he?
He's brilliant, isn't he? The best chance for him to win a race is the sprint race, and he goes and messes it up. Brilliant stuff there from him. But yeah, Senna pulling away from the cranky duckhead, who's has actually lost out to Dennis Hansen. Yeah. So Dennis has got ahead now, as Robert Smith is behind Tim Venting now. So I'm not sure what happened there, and he's lost quite a bit of time to him as well. So Paul Williams, the two Lamborghinis are up there with DJ Phil and Paul Williams, so showing that there's good pace in the Lamborghini
yellow
here.
Flag, that is the 44. Dean Wasoki's been off. He's got some bad damage. The number 57 was off with him as well. That is John Andrews. Both had a yellow flag. Has a bit of coming together there. John Andrews is a lap down, and nearly has a spin right in front of Dean.
Does indeed, and Dean comes into the pits as
Graham's back in.
He is back in. Fantastic job there, Graham. Meanwhile, Diz is under some immense pressure from Max Mulder at the minute, and Max looking to try and overtake his championship contender. Right now, like you said, it's not really too much phasing Max at the minute. He can sit there and lose out on a couple of points here and there, while Diz is just going to keep minding his own business as Max gets really close to the back of the BMW, but there's no way through.
No way through at the moment. Robert Smith still under pressure from Paul Williams, but Senna and Dennis, Cranky Duckhead, all stay out. Tim
Michael and Graham are side by side coming out pit lane. Graham and Michael, they were side by side coming out of pit lane, and now they've sorted themselves out, and Graham is very slow coming out of pit lane for some reason.
Probably letting Michael go just a little bit. Right, so Robert Smith looking to get back onto the rear of the cars in front. That'll be DJ Phil and Tim Venting. So Tim's now cleared DJ Phil, and in fact that is, looks like it's Björk Lund who is a lap down to these drivers and is getting ready to continue on his way. So it is only the top 11 to pit. We're halfway through this race down already. So already halfway through this race, Senna has got a fastest lap and a comfortable lead over Dennis Hansen at the moment. He's looking
Max
pretty
just
comfy.
had a massive moment. Sorry, Matt, but Max Mulder had a massive oversteer snap and nearly dropped it, but a fantastic save from him. But he's now got a little bit of pressure from Rishi Michel, but he looks like he's got damage to the front end of his Ferrari, so I don't think it's going to really hamper Max too much as the BMW of Dean Wasoki returns back on track.
Yeah, indeed it does. Brian Craig's now on the rear of Paul Williams. DJ Phil has missed the corkscrew. Go straight over it.
Senna pits.
And here comes this then of Robert Smith. So Senna's into the pit lane. John Gooday's had quite a bit of clear air. He's got Diz gaining on the back of him. And what Max won't want is a car in between him and Diz. John's still in this championship hunt, obviously. But John will just take any points over Max at the minute. Diz kind of needs big points.
He does indeed. And we'll end the poll there. 50-50 saying either Senna or Graham. I'm pretty sure it's not going to go the way of Graham. But yeah, Diz is wanting to get as many points as he possibly can, and every time he starts ahead of Max, he needs to use this time really to try and get those points back in the sprint races, because that's a lot of what happened in the pro is whoever was the car behind in the championship used the sprint to their advantage to try and then gain in points, but a lot different this season round. But John Goudet, Diz and Max Mulder all breathing down John's neck. Diz nearly drops the rear there.
He did indeed. Senna's already off the limiter and out the pit lane. They all come flying past the cranky duckhead, Paul Williams and Darren Bell. So they're moving up the leaderboard at the minute, and this is your closest fight on circuit. The thing as well for John Goudet is he'll want that points difference over Diz and Max Mulder, for that Constructors' Championship, Dan.
Yeah, indeed he will. But right now, Tim Ventink at the minute is still out on track, and Justin Winter has pitted, so is where those two will feed out to see where the constructors fight will be. But at the minute, John Goudet is making that the widest Aston Martin you've ever seen.
I actually think John Gooday's done a really good job at the moment, and it's Diz that's making a few of the errors. He's just dropped off the rear of John and has been caught slightly by Max Mulder, who's just gave him a cheeky flash of the light. Max won the race last night, let's not forget, race 2 around this circuit. Track's still only fast, so it's going to be interesting to see. John gets the opener to the corkscrew a little wrong. Brian Craig and both to the Team Merlot cars coming to the pits of Brian Craig and Mark Tucker, Diego Flores, Robert Smith, Tim Venting and Dennis Hansen still out there. I don't think Tim's going to be in this fight between these three where he'd have wanted to be. And is Max going to have a look up the inside? A bit of a late lunge. No, tucks back in behind Diz and leaves it there. Good evening to Ian Gray, and Diz and Max just getting two wheels over the curb and just having a bit of a twitch on the rear.
Yes, indeed. And right now as well, DJ Phil's under... Oh, DJ Phil's in the wall! He was under pressure from Justin Winter, but he's ended up in the wall. And he's got major damage to the front end of that Lamborghini.
Whoa.
And he nearly got hit by Dean Masaki.
Bit of an unsafe rejoin there from DJ Phil. I thought he was darting across to the pit lane, and Dean does well to avoid him. So Dean has unlapped himself from DJ Phil, but DJ Phil's car is going to be hampered now. Cranky Duckhead was within a tenth of Brian Craig. That's obviously Brian Craig leaving the pit.
Argent's had another moment as well, which has nearly made contact to Robert Smith coming into the final sector. So Argent having his moments as well.
He struggled all week in testing. Dennis Hansen into the pits. Tim stays out. Robert Smith, Diego Flores
has lost
not
a lot
yet
of time
near the start. Sorry. Oh, yeah, he has. And John Gooday's been off. Just as we turn to Diz, John Gooday returns to the track. And Max not close enough to capitalise, but Diz will say thank you very much.
And John's gone deep as well into the corkscrew. Too many mistakes, John, is causing him losing places with his championship rivals. I'm not sure what's going on with that Aston, but it looked solid for ages. And now it's just cracked under the pressure ever so slightly. Maybe it's just John struggling as... Richie Michelle!
Whoa! That was a dive bomb straight into the wall to avoid the back of John Gooday there. Good evening, Tracy.
Dennis Hansen's going to come out tight in this.
Bonkers. Dennis Hansen is going to come out tight in this. Where's Diz? Rounds the first corner. Diz gets past. Max Mulder takes the fastest lap. That's huge for Max Mulder. And Dennis Hansen, crucially, is in between Diz and Max Mulder. That is exactly what Diz needed with John. He could have had two cars between his championship rival. He's now only got the one. But Richie Michelle there, that was bonkers.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what happened there. Looks like he possibly caught the rear and just went into the wall, maybe locked up the rear brakes and had to choose either John and a penalty or the wall, and he opted for the wall. But luckily it's not real racing, and he's actually passing John Gooday. He's passed him.
Something's gone wrong with that Aston. No, he hasn't.
No, he hasn't.
No, he hasn't.
But even after that massive contact...
Something's gone wrong with that Aston Martin in his last two laps, Dan. Has to have, because John, like you said, looked so solid, and then he's just gone off the edge of a cliff, down through the corkscrew. We're on Justin Winter and Cranky Duckett. Sorry, Dan.
I'm just trying to sit and figure out why. Has he got wrong tyres? Is he under-fueled? What could be causing him to go slower? Because I know a lot of you guys had to slow down because your brilliant fuel... the window.
Yeah.
But yeah, Cranky Duckhead under immense pressure from Justin Winter.
Diz takes fastest lap. That is crucial in this championship. Dennis Hansen has been passed by Max. Yeah. So Max now has no cars between himself and Diz, but Diz crucially has that fastest lap of the race. And that's another point as Max bounces over a sausage curb, loses all momentum, and nearly loses the car completely. Dennis Hansen is back through. But oh my days, that could have been worse for Max Mulder. He would not want a low score here. He's again all over the curb.
Both McLarens all over the curb. The only McLaren that seems relatively happy out there is the McLaren of Senna out in front. But he's been caught by Diz pretty quickly. The gap was 11 seconds when they pitted. It is now 4.3. Now where's Tim going to come out of all this? Because he's been on his own pumping in the lap times. It's not a long pit lane here. So this could be still very close as Senna comes into the final corner. Tim's gone green now. I think he will come in the Dennis Hansen and Max Mulder fight. Has John gone wide in the background?
Or Tim Ventic not yet off the limiter. There goes Diz. He goes through. Dennis Hansen and Max are coming out now as Tim comes off the limiter. Is this going to be Max that may be close to his teammate? No, he's well past his teammate. What about John Gooday? This is huge for that Constructors' Championship fight. John Gooday, I don't think he's going to clear that of Tim Ventic. No, he does not. So now Diz is on the podium, and more importantly as well is he's going to gain 5 points, in fact no, a few more points over Max Mulder because of the fact he's stuck behind Dennis Hansen, and Max just had a few moments on the last lap. He's now pulling out to the outside line. Dennis Hansen's going to try and hold it tight to the inside as they come into the left-hander at the bottom of the hill, and Max chops the nose off of Dennis Hansen, who then has to get on the brakes and goes a little wide. And bit naughty from Max, maybe just chopping the nose off and swinging in, but he was cleanly through and job done.
I wouldn't say so. I think he just had the more confidence in the braking and just went right round the outside, knew what he had underneath him, and Dennis tried to stick with him, but it didn't pay off, and Max gained the position. I think that was fair from Max. He just had more confidence. Cranky Duckhead is under some pressure from S2M Borobex, who struggled in the GT4s last night, but seems to be in a better rhythm here in the McLaren. He's just ahead of Robert Smith, who's not long done his pit stop, and they're all stuck behind Justin Winter, who are trying to catch Richie Michelle, who has got major damage to that car. How that car is pointing straight, I don't know.
Well,
but
one car that's still got major damage as well is DJ Fields, and he's getting a bit of a train form behind him. We've got the likes of Michael and Mark Tucker gaining on him, as Michael has got past Mark Tucker. Down the order, Dean Wysocki has got past John Andrews, who's also carrying major damage. And a few cars just around this circuit walking wounded at the moment, but Max Mulder now takes the fastest lap down again off of Diz, so giving him, you know, that 5 point gap that Diz has got over Max Mulder at the minute now reduced to 4. It's still points back. It'll go down to 40.5 in the championship, and Diz will take that 4 points at the moment because we've still over 600 points left in the championship. It's about just chipping away steadily.
Yeah, it is indeed, and it's just being about consistent throughout the season, and point by point you'll slowly work your way back up the order. Robert Smith has lost out to S2M Borobex. His next target is Justin Winter in the Porsche, but Senna is looking strong at the minute. He's got a 3.4 gap over Diz. Senna's just got to survive one more lap, and he's going to get the race win.
Oh, Dean Wysocki's round and hits Naval Gomez, who catches Michael into DJ Phil. Absolute carnage everywhere. And I assumed Dean had his own moment. I was watching the battle, DJ Phil versus Michael, and all of a sudden Dean was there on the road stationary, and it looked like he tried to pull forward. He had two wheels on the curb, it didn't work. DJ Phil now cannot turn, and Argent goes through. But yeah, big damage to a couple of cars there. Senna starts the final lap.
Dennis Hansen's dropped down the order. He's dropped down to 6th. He's lost out to John Goudet and Tim Venting. So I don't know if he's had a spin on his own and he's dropped down the order. So it's all happening just at the end of the race. S2M Borobex is in the wall.
Drop behind John Goudet. Borobex is now in the wall. Oh, that McLaren is... I've seen worse. Richie Michelle's looks a little worse, but yeah, he's now been in the wall. So a few cars at the end here just dying. And John Andrews is now round, rolls out the way before Graham gets to him at the bottom of the corkscrew. So a lot of drivers, Dan, making mistakes here. Is it these cool track temperatures or what? I'm not quite sure. But Senna's now coming to the corkscrew, and looks like he's going to be on for a race win. Max has now dropped it. We'll go back to Max in a moment because Senna is coming to the line. He's coming to the final corner. He's only had a best result of 3rd place this season, and he's rounding the final corner. He's going to take a race win, his first ever race win. Senna wins here from Diz right at the very end. Who gets 3rd place? That's the biggest question. Is it going to be Max Mulder? He does hang on for that 3rd place, so he must have had a hearty mouth. Dan, what happened to Max Mulder?
He hit the curb in the corkscrew and the rear went light. So yeah, that's happened there. John Goudet is going to come home for 5th place. Then it's going to be Dennis Hansen in 6th, with Richie Michelle hanging in there after that big moment in 7th. 8th is going to be Justin Winter, Robert Smith in 9th, and 10th, the Cranky Duckhead hanging on to that top 10 position.
Justin Winter coming home P8th, and that's not going to be good for that Constructors' Championship. They're going to lose out absolutely massively there. Cranky Duckhead top 10. I'm sure he'd have loved a little more, but it's a good result for Cranky Duckhead. B. Craig will come home P11. Paul Williams then will cross the line in 12th place. S2M Borough Becks just behind him in that P13 after that big incident at the end. Mark Tucker, he's going to come home for P14 towards the end. Naval Gomez has already crossed the line. He is down in 22nd place. Dean Woodsocki, few mistakes at the end of that race. He's down in 24th from being on the front row of the grid. Kieran Argent will cross the line 15th. Not the race he'd have probably wanted. Diego Flores, again, another driver that's probably just a little unhappy with his result. DJ Phil could have had better. He's 17th place. Michael, excuse me, on that Nissan's 50th race will take 18th place. Björk Lund will come across for 19th. Graham, great to see Graham back out there. He is only P20. And then we've got Darren Bell, who just comes to the line now to take home 21st. And I believe it was John Andrews to take home 23rd, the only driver who I don't have down. No, yeah, Smith 9th. Yep, got him. So that is everybody done. We'll be back, though, in a few moments' time for that second race. Forgot to mention Max Mulder as well. Fastest lap. So well done to him. We'll be back in a few moments. Oh dear. Right, so who's not racing tonight? So no Fat Bloke. No Sam. Whew.
Green light, give it all you can.
Mirko not here tonight. And the track goes back to green, look.
Yep.
Whew, that is fucking warm. James! James! Bedtime! Moaning that you're tired, Jamie. What? Well, repeat it so you told me, Jamie. You're moaning that you was tired this morning. It's bedtime. I'm just going to the toilet.
naughty, naughty, very naughty. No, no, no. What?
Quiet as you come through, Jan. There was a guy, let's call him Dan. Bingo was his name, oh.
I'm gonna punch you in the dick-o.
Green light. Give it all you got.
Okay. 5, 4. Welcome back then, ladies and gentlemen, to SimPlay Motorsport, here for round 14 of the season. It is qualifying time, and it is time to see who will be the first man out on the track, and it is actually that of Diz. While we speak of Diz, we can talk about the championship standings which have just changed. 4 points, the gap closes by Max Mulder, now leads by 40.5 points, but they both extend their gap over Tim Ventink and John Gooday. It was 86 separated the top 5. It is now 102 as John Gooday goes to 84.5 points in P4. Justin Winter stays 6th from SRM Borough-Bex, with Brian Craig in 8th. Robert Smith goes into 9th spot. Sam drops down to 10th from P. Williams with Dennis Hansen. Diego Flores, Naval Gomez. Fat Bloke stays P15 from Darren Bell. Mirko Ritchie drops down the order from Mark Tucker. DJ Phil, Dean, Cranky Duckhead, Kieran Argent. Senna moves up to 24th place. Michael, Micro Jays, Graham, John Andrews, The Jekyll, Lund, Dean Wasocki, Andrew Taylor, Nuquace, Romeo, Oliver and MB Pitts. Obviously all results are provisional and the championship standings are all provisional until we get that stewarded out the way, depending on what tickets come in. BSP Racing lead the way, 173.5 points. They've extended their gap over Greasy Bandits, the current defending champions. Richie Corsa a P3 from Stage 2 Motorsport in 4th. Team Merlo a P5 from Team FBR. FSO Juniors are then in P6. Vorta Racing Independent from Greasy Bandits Racing Junior Independent. Forever Forward Racing Independent. BSP Academy Independent. And Retroactive Racing of Robert Smith and Diz. And Dan Diz already on his first flying lap. What is going to happen here? Because this could be an interesting one to watch as we go through.
I think we're still looking at the BSP boys looking to be the ones to beat in qualifying. Diz may be the first one out. He has got the clean air. Depends if any cars come out on track in front of him, which there's quite a few cars.
So 3 BSP cars.
Well, there you go then. A lot of they won't obviously know really too much about who's where and what. They'll be focused purely on getting their laps done and dusted and get a banker in at least. And once they've got that banker in, then they'll start to push a little bit harder. But you got to look at the two, like I said, BSP Motorsport boys or racing boys of Max Mulder and Tim Venting, who is made a mess of the corkscrew.
They are getting blue flags. They're on their outlaps. Diz is on his first fly, and they are getting blue flags. That'll be to let Diz through. Now, you aren't allowed to hold up the lead cars on a lap here, so I think Senna's just let Diz go. That's put Senna in a problem at the moment. He's going to have to start his flying lap. In fact, Senna pulls off into the pit lane. He's waiting for a gap. Laguna's not the longest of circuits, Dan. You quickly find traffic.
You do indeed, and when we got a quality grid like this, the 23 cars, it's difficult to find the space, and you've got to try and work your way around it, find opportunities, find gaps, and Diz does set the pace. We know what lap times these boys can do. It is now retroactive racing 1-2 as it stands at the minute, but the pros have been looking at hitting the 22s, and the top guys in the Pro-Ams have been hitting the 23s in practice, so we know what these boys can do, so a little bit more pace to come yet.
Now, Mark Tucker has set a qualifying time when he is on a qualifying ban. Just double checking, he was reminded before the first race even got underway, so that's going to be an interesting one to keep our eyes on there.
Yeah, slam dunk if he's qualified and put a lap time on the board, even with a reminder. That's going to be a trip to the steward's room, which he will not like, but that's what you get for not checking the Discord.
It is indeed. Car 64 is coming around the final couple of corners. That is Darren Bell. Behind him is the orange BMW now of the Jackal, who can only make race 2s. Diego Flores still in the pit lane. Not quite sure why he's not out yet to qualify. There's a good gap, actually, behind Darren Bell. Ahead of Darren Bell. And then car 68, which is that of S2M Borough-Bex. That's the gap you kind of want to feed yourself into at the moment, because behind that is absolutely anybody's game.
Yeah, it is indeed. And one driver I've noticed that is qualifying, which is a shock, is Michael. Michael's gone out to qualify.
Yeah, he has probably realised that last week he made a mistake.
Yep, and this track is too tight to try and do it from the back of the pack. But Max Mulder now goes and sets the pace with Justin Winter now into second, with Senna in third. Diz not improving on his lap time, with Robert Smith just behind him as well. S2M Borough-Bex in sixth, Dennis Hansen seventh, eighth is Gomez, ninth is Tucker, and 10th is Williams, and he crosses the line with no improvement.
He does. John Andrews coming to the line now with DJ Phil. They're both on lap times already, and will them to improve. John Andrews finds a bit of time. DJ Phil finds a little bit of time. The 44 then, that is Dean Wysocki's going to come to the line. He goes straight up to P12. That's not a bad lap time from Dean Wysocki, 2.6 off the back.
No, not bad at all for Dean, and he just obviously struggled with the first race. He's now going to get himself back into a rhythm, back into one.
Borough-Bex has just gone P3, putting another car between Diz and Max Mulder at the moment, and that's pretty good from Borough-Bex. Who's kind of dropped off the radar a little bit as this season's gone on. He was right up there. And now look, Dan, we're back to the train of cars. We've got to be careful mentioning trains. We don't want to excite PM before tomorrow night.
As Diz now goes back up to third, and Tim Venting now goes fastest overall, and the more and more the cars are running on circuit as Robert Smith improves, gets within a tenth of the top two. Richie Michelle gets within a tenth of the top two. Robert Smith goes ahead of his teammate, and like I said, the guys are now just finding the little bits of time here and there. The track is ramping up, the cars are getting faster, and we are starting to see improvements.
Everybody apart from Diego Flores, who's not come out of the pits, and John Gooday, who's not set a lap time. Neither is Kieran Argent, as Paul Williams now moves up into 13th place. That is the 31 coming to line. I believe that is the Honda Cranky Duckhead. It is. He moves up to 17th place. Who's the next one? It is the 53. That'll be DJ Phil and John Andrews, no doubt. DJ Phil Doesn't find any time there. The 46. That is Kieran Argent. Is he going to put a lap time on the board? He does and moves himself up to 11th place. Not a bad lap from Kieran Argent. At the 68, then a Borough Bex was P9. Goes up to P6 and Diz down to P9 and a second cover in the top 10 at the moment. And again, we find ourselves back to the front of a little queue of cars.
Yeah, this is not where Diz want to be. Max had his moment. Then I believe it's Darren Bell behind him that had a moment. And now Diz is just sat behind him while Tim Venting's been right up behind him. So Diz needs to get out of this train, although it's put him to 5th. But Tim Venting's improved even more, 23.2. Like I said, the Pro Boys are in the 22s. So Tim Venting not far off that pace as Richie Michelle with the clean air comes to the line, and he does not improve. And
Robert Smith improves. He goes up the order. What about Justin Winter in that bit of clear air? Doesn't go ahead of Diz this time around. The 23 is coming to the line. That is Mark Tucker. No improvement for him. The 180 is now going to come to the line of P. Williams. He's only a couple of hundredths off the back of Mark Tucker. Can he find anything else here? No, he cannot. Who's next on a lap time? That is car 68. And if you're Diz, Dan, you want to get out of that traffic, don't you? You want to get out of that queue because you're seeing Tim Venting and Richie Michelle and Robert Smith and Dennis Hansen go quicker. And they're all going quicker because they're in clear air.
Yeah, but you don't want to get stuck. You don't want to get stuck into a loop where you end up coming back in, rush back out, and then back into a different queue, a much slower queue. At least with the queue that he was in with Max Mulder and Tim Venting, they were going to be similar pace to him anyway, as the car has improved.
That
is Borough Bex. He's on a roll here. He seems to be in the groove at the minute.
He does indeed. Diz has now got a bit of clear road. It's Dean Wasocki ahead. Dean looks like he's got a bit of front end damage, but he's not massively there. Might just get a bit of slipstream down the start straight now, Mike Diz, off of Dean Wasocki. And Diz to the line. Is he going to find any improvement? He does, back up to second place and ahead of Max Mulder, more importantly, by a good chunk of time as well. Car 7, that is Bjork Lund down in 16th place. Can he find any time? No improvement there for Bjork. And John Gooday, Dan, still hasn't got a lap time on the board. What is going off with John?
He's just clearly not getting a clear run. He is currently on a valid lap at the minute, but he's got Kieran Argent up in front of him, and I believe Argent may have pulled over to the side. No, he's still going on. It looked like he was a little bit slow, but John's just not able to get a lap time on the board, and that's, you want to get at least a banker on the board, something decent, something good, so that you're able to continue fighting on. But as you see them go towards the corkscrew, John Gooday just needs to get a lap time on the board. Meanwhile, loads of cars into the final sector now. The 57 is in the final corner. That is John Andrews with DJ Phil coming to the line.
It is John Andrews with DJ Phil. DJ Phil currently down the order in 19th, stays 19th. John Andrews stays 21st. The 113 is coming to the line. That is Naval Gomez. Not really mentioned Naval Gomez tonight. Not really seen him out there on the track. Stays P10 at the moment. John Gooday's now coming to the line. Is this the lap he needs to get on the board and get a time on there? Finally, but it's only good enough for 16th.
Oh, he would have to go again. He's running out of time, 5 minutes. I hope he's got enough fuel. Meanwhile, Dean Wasocki next to the line. He's got the 666 behind him of Dennis Hansen, currently 8th. Dean Wasocki, is he going to improve? No improvements. Dennis Hansen does improve and goes P4.
That's a good lap time from Dennis Hansen, that leaving it right to the end, and he's going to possibly pit and come
Justin
out
Winter
for
next.
one more lap. And here comes Justin Winter towards the line before the car 28, and car 28 then is that of, as Justin Winter now goes up to 5th. So time being found here by all these drivers. Senna now coming to the line. A second separate the top 9. Can Senna improve? He doesn't. Stays P7 at the moment. The next car is at the 2. That is the 366 and Michael, who moves up the order. We're going to go to the 31 of Cranky Duckhead as P. Williams crossed the line as well. So it's Cranky Duckhead. Then from Graham currently sat P12. Not a bad qualifying for him. He'll take that. Obviously not driven the car for a while. Cranky moves up to 17th. Here comes Graham. Can he find any more time? No time found there. The 53 is there next. That is DJ Phil. Needs to find 4/10 of a second to get ahead of Dean Wasocki. Finds a bit more than 5/10 of a second to get ahead of Dean Wasocki. Max Mulder goes second place, and we're going to jump back to John Gooday, who is coming towards the line now. Is he going to improve on this 16th place?
Hopefully so.
He does. He goes P10.
Does.
And Diz stays P4.
Yeah, Diz is he's now on a bad lap. He was on an out lap, and once again he's got Tim Venting behind him. As, like I said, the guys are just finding those slight changes now. Robert Smith now out of the final corner, partnering with Diz. He comes to the line now. Any improvement from him? He does. He goes P5 with his teammate. So he's there with him and trying to help him out as much as he possibly can.
Richie Michel's put a car between himself and Diz, and Justin Winter now puts the car between himself and Diz as well. So great lap times here coming round. Still 3 minutes left, so still time for drivers to pump in some valid lap times in this qualifying session at the minute. Going to be interesting to see.
Down to the line. Paul Williams in the Lamborghini. What can he do? Any improvement? No improvement for him, though, even though this car should be mighty. The Cranky Duckhead next in the Honda. Currently 17th place position, the 31. Is he going to get any higher? No improvement for him. Then a huge gaggle of cars now coming to the end of this qualifying session. Richie Michel is the first of them. No improvement.
No improvement for him. No improvement for a few at the end of the lap as well. And John Gooday is going to get onto the back of these as well at the very end before Diz will have his chance. What about John Gooday? Any improvement on P10? No, stays 10th. What about Diz? An improvement on P5th, goes 3rd. Right back behind Max Mulder. And it is half a second separating the top 7. This is a fantastic qualifying session.
Laguna Seca always brings great quality, and it's also great racing because it's so balanced here. The track even for most cars, and we can see now that the Ferrari, as I said earlier on, is looking the all-right best car, and Tim Venting has backed off of the back of Dizzle to give himself the best run possible. But it is going to be the Honda, the first car to come to at the line, and I think most of them should be able to get another lap in. Anyone who's in pit lane now won't.
Yeah, pit lane drivers are done in this qualifying session, so it will be the Cranky Duckhead will be the first man to the line. Richie Michel will then be next. Justin Winter has pulled it back into the pit lane, so he is done for qualifying. He will not get another run in. Here comes then Cranky Duckhead. He's 2.1 off the pace. Is he going to improve on P17? No, stays P17. What about Richie Michel? He's currently down in 5th place. What does he do? Believe he stays in 5th place. Then it is Diego Flores. He goes up to 22nd. And then a few cars cross the line, and we're going to go back up to Diz.
Richie
Michel went
2nd.
And he bailed on his last run. He had another chance at a run, probably then out of fuel or something. Dizzle to the line, needs 2/10. Doesn't find it, but has 1 lap left, crucially. And is flashing the lights at who is that? John Andrews, to get out of the way.
He is indeed. A couple of cars with damage. Max Mulder and Dizzle both got damage. Dizzle on the front, Max on the rear, which is interesting, as Dizzle was behind Max, and John Andrews now holding up Dizzle as Max had a big moment and is in the wall. Max is done for qualifying, but once again, it's going to be the Cranky Duckhead who's going to be the first one to set a lap time. But John Andrews really hampering Diz here. And I don't think Diz will improve because John Andrews is right in the way.
John Gooday's invalidated. He is done. He pulls off the track and he is going to park that for qualifying. He is
Diz
done.
Is done.
And Diz is done as well. So is it going to be Tim Venting to take pole position? I'm not sure who else is out there on a lap that can stop him. Maybe Senna, who is still out there. And Cranky Duckhead slow at the line. He is finished. The 18 is also done. The 57 of John Andrews held up. Dizzle at the end. Car 42. That is Tim Venting. He's done. Car 46 still on a lap. As is Senna. So 46 is Argent. And then it is Senna. And John Andrews in the way. And Tim Venting's just hit him off the road. And Tim's on an invalid lap. So a little strange there. John Andrews a bit slow coming into the final corner. Here comes Kieran Argent, then one of the penultimate men to finish this lap and finish this race qualifying session. Will he take pole? Will he take any improvement? No, stays where he is. All attention turns to Senna. 0.6 of a second needed. Could he put himself on the front row? Will he make himself a nuisance? He's got damage to his car. What is going to happen here is he rounds the final corner down towards the start-finish line. Will Senna put himself in this battle? P3 goes quicker than both. What a qualifying.
A BSP at the front row, and we know that Senna has signed with BSP, but obviously not running in this championship as it. But Senna puts himself in 3rd. Another BSP driver up there. but Max is 4th. That's the shock for me.
And Diz 5th.
I didn't think Richard, and like I said, the Ferraris were the ones to keep an eye on.
Yeah.
And
I believe we've
there is
lost.
only 2 Ferraris. There's only 2 Ferraris.
I've just noticed that I've not seen Brian Craig come over the line, so he must be. We should have been up to 25 cars. We have lost Brian Craig from the race. Or from this session. I didn't see him in qualifying at all. So we have lost Brian Craig, so that is that one car why we are one car down. Where did DJ Phil qualify? He's 20th. Diego Flores was 22nd. Burra Beck's up there in 9th. Not a bad qualifying. The top 10, not really separated by a lot neither, and it was a really good qualifying session for all these drivers. And the track, you could really see, started to get better. It was just traffic that stopped drivers from progressing.
Yeah, it was. It's just trying to find that space, and it clearly, Tim Ventink played it well and played it on point, and he ended up being at the top. As we'll keep an eye on who is going to work their magic here. Tim Ventink is really going to hope that he has a good start and just pulls away, because it looks like the boys are struggling to clear cars here at Laguna Seca. So we'll see how most of the drivers get on with that, as I'm currently doing a poll for you guys for race winner.
10 seconds.
I'm just currently inputting the pole position statistics. Senna, what a day Senna's having. Great qualifying at the very end at the moment.
He seems relatively planted in that McLaren. Seems to be the most comfortable McLaren at that. So it should be easy. It should be interesting to see how he does. I mean, he'll want to get as many wins as he possibly can. We're going to go with the top 4 with race winner. But guys, if you think somebody else, then please put it in the chat. But while these guys do their formation lap, I've always got to remind you, first things first, to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. If you please get as many likes as we possibly can on the channel. Currently 25 people watching. If you hit that like button, that'd be fantastic, because it helps us here at SimPlay Motorsport. Subscribe as well, so you keep up to date with anything that's going on from our championships, as we have got the pros tomorrow night, and we got the fantastic GT4s returning at the Hungaroring, and also keep an eye on in about 2 months time, because we will then have the next endurance race, which I believe is at where, Matt?
4 hours of Spa, so we get an extra hour.
4 hours of Spa, probably one of the most demanding circuits there is. If you're in a Porsche, don't even bother, or a Honda, because Eau Rouge and Radion, you'll go flying.
You say a Honda, but let's be honest, if you're miking a Honda, don't bother, because, you know,
well, if
others
you're
can
miking a
manage it.
Honda, you might drop it. If you're miking a Mercedes, you might break it and hit the invisible wall. And if you're Fury in an LMP, you'll probably end up in the moon.
Yeah.
But also, while you're at it as well, if you're on our page, and have a look at our fantastic sponsors, Design Manchester and Audio Sport, both 2 of our supporters here who have done amazing things for us, and please give them a support on their Facebook and their websites. All the information is in the description below. And if you do want to be a sponsor of the channel, if you do want to sponsor us and help us achieve what we can here at SimPlay Motorsport, then please head over to we've had a disconnection there.
No, we
Brian
haven't.
Craig's
We've had
got in.
Brian Craig come in, and then we have just had a disconnection.
Oh.
I'm looking at who, or I'm trying to see who. Oh, it's got to be somebody up the order, because I'm looking at the qualifying results. Dean was 21st on my little spreadsheet, and I'm looking at DJ Phil. He was 20th. Michael was 19th. Bjork was 18th. Cranky was 17th. Jackal 16th. Paul Williams was 15th.
Robert Smith.
It was Robert Smith. There we go. Oh, what a shame.
He's back in.
Oh, what a shame for the American driver. He's had such good pace. They round the final corner. It's a Ferrari front row. It's a McLaren second row. It's round 14 at Laguna Seca. And we are green and go here for the second time and final time tonight. And it is a great start from Tim Ventink, already covering off that. Richie Michel, Diz is round, into the wall. Championship battle, and it's one of them into the wall. Not sure what happened at the start. Now Burra Bex has had a spin in the background as well. He's now got to wait for the entire pack to come through, and there is already so much drama down at the beginning of this race, and Max Mulder now could extend that championship lead.
He could indeed. We're into the second half of the championship, and it's going the way of the BSP boys at Diz. Not sure what happened there, not sure who made contact with him, but Max is already into second and now attacking for race lead. He's down the inside of Tim Venting, and Tim is giving him the lead.
Yeah, Tim's let him go. That's time tactics
Max
there already.
Wide,
Tim can win this championship as well, and it is a BSP 1, 2, 3 at the moment. Tim from Max from Senna, and they've got to be careful now. Richie Michel's up the rear end of both of them, and they all come filtering in now towards the corkscrew. Tim and Max have got to be careful here because there's quicker cars coming. Kieran Argent's moved up to 5th place from Dennis Hansen. Graham has gone up to 7th. Justin Winter is 8th from John Gooday. Naval Gomez 10th. Merck Tucker, P. Williams, the Jackal. Michael Dean's gone from 20th all the way up to 15th. Good start from him. Cranky Duckhead is off at the corkscrew. So then it's Darren Bell, Jacques Lund, DJ Phil, Borough Bex, Diego Flores, John Andrews, Diz, Robert Smith, Brian Craig yet to get going. He might be under a 2-minute wait window, but Tim leads from Max, leads from Senna. It's a BSP 1, 2, 3 at the moment, but it is the Academy driver who is P3 and the two main drivers who are 1 and 2, and Senna wide. That could allow Richie Michel up the inside, and it will do. Not enough though. Senna keeps it going.
Diz still has a chance here. Obviously he's got a bit of damage to his car, but he can be smart here. He can try and work his way through the order, as I'm noticing quite a lot of internet spikes are coming in again. But hopefully they'll calm down relatively soon. But Max Mulder leading the way from Tim Venting, from Senna, from Richie Michel. Kieran Argent with the start of his life, with Graham as well. Both of the boys, the old boys of SimPlay Motorsport now. God, I feel weird saying that. Are off and away as one.
Oh, Senna's off! Senna's off!
Senna's off!
So he's gone wide on his own. Did he get a tap? I'm not sure, but he has to now wait patiently. Rejoins as best he can. Oh, narrowly avoided by Dean Wasocki as he rejoined the track and had a spin. Looked like he stalled it and now stays off the road as Diz comes flying through. Oh my days, but Max Mulder on his 100th start! He's round and off! Damn, it's all happening here.
It is all happening. Pressure is probably cashing these guys out, and Tim Venting put away. But luckily they had that buffer as Argent has got past Richie Michel.
I can't believe what I'm seeing. Kieran Argent, who struggled all week in testing, has come here for the final race. Graham's up to 5th. John Gooday's in 6th ahead of his teammate. Dean Wasocki's gone from 20th to P11. That's not a bad start to his race. Can he keep that one going? But it is Richie Michel down in 4th. Kieran Argent in 5th. Max Mulder and Tim need to now really, Dan, stop messing around and give each other the places and start getting into a rhythm, because twice Max been given the place. Twice Max now made a mistake.
This McLaren seems to struggle here. It's got all right 1 lap pace, but it just seems to not gel with this circuit. I think because of the length and the downforce of the car, it's bottoming out quite a lot, and there seems to be a lot of drama for the McLaren boys. Senna and Max being caught out, but Diz needs to start clearing cars quickly, which he's already up to 18th place and now on the back of DJ Phil.
And I'm just looking here, Justin Winters.
Dean past Dean.
Yeah.
Dean Wasocki's had a moment on his own.
He has had a moment on his own. He's between traffic there. Just looking at Justin Winter as well. He's dropped behind Naval Gomez. Now he's bounced off the sausage curb.
DJ, but there's cars everywhere. Dizzle's involved.
Phil's off. Who else is off? Dan Dizzle rejoins on the track as well. Who else involved there?
Lunda, S2M Borough Bex, I think, the GTR of Michael, but Diz, his championship is falling apart. Robert Smith, his fastest lap.
All going horribly wrong in this race at the moment. Robert Smith had that disconnection, let's not forget. He's already on the back of DJ Phil Green. Diz down to 18th place now then, but it is Tim Venting, fastest lap from Max Mulder, from Kieran Argent, who's got Richie Michel right up the rear wing of him, coming into turn 1. That Mustang's good round this first part of the lap. The minute it gets to these corners, it starts to unravel, and so far for Kieran, so good. But he's got the old boy of Graham. Who'd have thought these two would still be fighting at the front of a grid? They are still with it. Kieran's wide. That could allow Richie Michel a chance to look up the inside. He's going to have a look into turn 4, and Richie Michel will not want a second invitation. Kieran tries to tuck back underneath. It's going to be on the outside. Sutty might fancy a piece of this action. We know how crazy Graham can be, and Kieran round the outside. Can he tuck under? Taps Michel, keeps it going in a straight line. Sutty drops a wheel on the gravel. Now John Gooday's looking side by side with Graham. In towards the left-hander, up the hill they go, and John backs out of that one. This is absolutely fantastic, and we're only five minutes into this race.
We are indeed, and the top two are pulling away because of all this, as Argent too busy fighting with Richie Michelle. Diz just has to recover and try and score points here. He needs to just, it might be his drop score again. He keeps throwing away races, and the way it keeps going, the BSP boys can just run away with it.
Diego Flores has a mistake as Senna was on the back of him coming through the corkscrew. That's going to allow a few cars to go ahead. Oh, Dean just has a wiggle just in front of Diz, and then there's Michael as Diz goes round the outside. The pit window doesn't open for another 15 or so minutes. This is absolutely mayhem. And Ian Gray says maybe it wasn't the GT4s that were so bad. Maybe it's just this track. Well, he's got to go tomorrow night, as now that is Esteban Borobeck's looking up the inside of the Cranky Duckhead. Does he get through? Yes, he does. Robert Smith's on the back of John Andrews, and Bjork Lund, DJ Phil and Brian Craig. Craig's not a lap down yet, but Tim Ventic's gaining on the back of him. Justin Winter, if I know, John Gooday and Graham still on the back of Argent. John Gooday drops 2 wheels on the dirt, and that's going to hurt his run on that of the back of Graham.
He's looking impatient as John. He's trying to clear these guys as quickly as he can, because he knows the longer he sits there, the more and more chance that Tim and Max could disappear. And he's looking for any opportunity past Sutty. But you got to be much earlier in the morning to get past Sutty. He is probably one of the wisest and most difficult cars to pass, because he's a complete lunatic.
After Kelly Davis, I'd agree with you there, but like you say, Dan. Oh, John!
John dropped it!
There we go. There's the moment, Dan. A little bit of impatience from John Gooday, just pushing too hard on the back of Graham. The dirty air affecting that Aston Martin. But Dan, how many times have we seen Argent in a battle with Kelly Davis? How many times have we seen Kevin Argent in a battle with Graham Sutcliffe? And they get to resume it once again here for 4th and 5th. Max Mulder now sets the fastest lap, has took a second out of Tim Venting. Gomez has been overtaken by Justin Winter. The Jackal is trying to gain on the back of Senna. In fact, I think Senna's got ahead of him. Diego Flores has got Michael right behind him at the moment. Out there's a yellow flag around the 44. That's Dean Wasocki, who's got a bit of damage to his car, so he's had a moment. Diego Flores has got Michael with him then, and Diz now up to 14th, but at the moment 3.3 behind the Jackal. This is crazy.
This is crazy, and this is just happening. They've still got to do an hour yet of racing. This is mental. And the BSP boys are getting closer again. Tim is losing time to Max, and they cannot afford to race each other at this stage. They've got to get away from the pack, and I've been first hand of Graham's attacks, and trust me, he's not afraid to just lunge a car up the inside. He runs wide in the left-hand kink, but everyone's running wide. Everyone seems to be struggling in these conditions, but there's nothing crazy about them. We've got optimum tyre temperature, we've got optimum track, we've got warmer conditions than what we're used to this week, and they're all struggling.
Mark Tucker's had a spin. Just noticed the yellow flag on the number 23 car. He gets back going. That's out of turn 4. Looks like possibly a bit of rear end damage. Justin Winter's been re-overtaken by that then of Naval Gomez. Tim's just pulled away a little bit. Justin Winter has a wiggle. Dennis Hansen's now on the back of John Gooday as John's trying to get onto the rear once again of Graham. Graham's lost time to Kieran Argent at the minute, gap up to 1.4. So John Gooday trying to get on him, but Dennis Hansen having a look at John Gooday now. It is all going swimmingly if you're a BSP driver and a BSP fan, but at the minute for John Gooday and Diz, this is not what you would need. Diz now is what? He was 3.3 off the back of Jackal. It's now 3.4. That gap not coming down at the moment.
No, it's not, and I don't think it will for a while. As I think with that damage he's got to pit as soon as the pit window opens. He's got to get in, get some fresh tyres, and change the damage.
Look at this train, Cranky Duckhead. Michael Robert Smith. Michael's going to have a look up the inside of the Honda. Taps him round. Robert Smith, thank you, Mama, for the carrots. 2 places in 1. Diego Flores will be happy with that. John Andrews goes through. Bjork Lund goes through. Dean Wasocki goes through. DJ Phil will not be able to, and Cranky Duckhead really there spun around a bit too early. Mark Tucker into the pits. That rear end damage looks quite severe on the back of his car. Gap pulling out now, but Kieran Argent's back under pressure from Graham, from John, from Dennis. So it's a bit of a train for P4 here, and it's going to be an interesting one. 4 different cars as well, 4 different characteristics as John runs wide.
Could we be speaking to possibly Argent on the podium? This is as close as he's been all season. Since he's been
He was
in
a
the
little
Mustang.
slow, Dan, and Sutty.
Graham's
Graham's got to run. He's coming for him here. He got to run out the last corner, did Graham. He's got that inside line. The Mustang's horsepower not able to pull Argent alongside. It does just now as they get on the brakes. Sutty up the inside. It's not quite the send it we used to. Here comes Gooday. Did he just make contact with Argent to push Argent wide? Argent taps him round.
I don't think there was contact, but John Goudet gets the tap from Argent, and now he's not happy. He's flashing the lights, and Argent, a bit of an unsafe rejoin there, and John Goudet, all that hard work and just the impatientness there.
I don't think it was an unsafe rejoin, Dan. Argent looked like he lost the rear a little bit under the on the gravel, so it looks like it's possibly turned him, but I assume that one will come into the stewards, and we'll have to see about that.
Unless Argent gives the position back, I don't think... yeah, I don't know what's going to happen there. John Goudet will be putting that in for sure, but the drama for the championship contenders as Diz has now got up to 12.
Senna's in a wall. John Andrews is off. John Andrews just launched over the sausage curb, and Senna's in a wall. They've all got past up to Dean Wysocki. DJ Phil now is going to try and come through as Senna just slowly pulls away. DJ Phil gets past. Dean's now on the back of John Andrews, who's had another moment on his own, and Dean's now up yet another place. There is drama wherever you look in this race at the moment, and Dennis is now gaining on the back of Graham Sutcliffe. It is pretty clear between the top three at the moment, but this is absolutely fantastic racing. Pit window opens in another 10 and a half minutes, so there's a big window for this pit window to open. Still anything can happen in this race, and Graham now under pressure from Dennis Hansen.
He is indeed, but Graham knows how to race and knows how to keep the position. As meanwhile, the Cranky Duckhead is under some pressure from Diego Flores, but he's actually dropped back now. So Cranky Duckhead has got past him as DJ Phil was fighting Senna, and I don't think Senna was quite expecting to be fighting DJ Phil at this stage.
No, I think they've got past. Dean's in early. I think Dean's had another moment. Dean's into the pits. Mark Tucker still in the pits as well. And this is going to be an interesting one.
This is indeed, as the top two are pulling away quickly from Richie Michelle. It seems to be in the most this part of the season, it's been all about BSP Racing and Richie Michelle, really the top three to disappear in these races. Obviously, I'm doing the social media and rewatching some of the racing, and it's these three that always seem to be up the top of the tables, especially in the feature races.
That was very strange. I was watching Jackal come through. I didn't really see anything wrong with Darren Bell, and all of a sudden Darren Bell just went off at the bottom of the corkscrew. Very interesting to see at the moment. But he loses out to Paul to the Jackal and I believe Diz. Yeah, Diz got past as well. So Diz now running up in P11, 2 seconds off the back of the Jackal. Justin Winter putting his teammate under some pressure at the moment, and we've still got Graham, Dennis, Kieran Argent 1.5 behind, then John Goudet, then Justin Winter, who's now coming into this. Justin Winter's Porsche looks like it's took a battering, but John, you just see dropping a wheel or two into that dirt every single lap at the moment. Justin's got to look up the inside of John and nearly outbrakes himself. That would have been catastrophic.
It would have been, and what Justin needs to be doing, and John's allowed him to go. I was about to say they need to work together, and Justin clearly has the pace. So what John needs to do now is try and stick to the back of his teammate and use Justin as a battering ram, basically.
Get back into a rhythm. Get back into a rhythm as well.
Get Justin to do all the hard work of pushing through, and he has to go with him.
Yeah.
He needs to go with the Porsche and work his way through the traffic.
Oh no!
Because easily.
Borough Beck's yellow flag coming up to turn 4. That is big damage. There is a flash of the lights there, and that is rolling at the moment. That is huge damage. Senna's got through, DJ Phil's got through, John Andrews, I believe, has just got through. Dean's unlapped himself from Borough Beck's, but that for Borough Beck's will be a big pit stop. That is huge damage to Dean back out the pits after his pit stop. There's a 53. Who is the 53? That's the yellow flag. That's DJ Phil. And Dean unlaps him as DJ Phil rejoins to track a little scariously there. So, that was Max Mulder and John Andrews, if I'm correct.
Yes, that was heart and mouth moment there. Oh my God. What's going on? For goodness sake, it's cursed, I swear.
Pro should be a doddle tomorrow.
Max has just straight lined the corkscrew.
Max has straight lined the corkscrew. Dean is getting blue flags for Tim venting, and Dean straight. Oh no! Tim's just hit Dean! Dean's pulled to the left and Tim's hit him!
Oh God, no. No.
Dean
Max
pulls to
Mulder
the
leads.
left-hand side, and Tim has just drove into the back of him.
Oh no. I'll now catch up on the stream in a second, but oh man. Max now leads this race. Like I said, Diz can still can recover. He's now caught the Jackal.
Well, we're currently watching Graham on the back of Dennis Hansen. That on stream to me, and chat, tell me if I'm wrong, but Dean looked like he pulled to the left there to get out the way and give Tim that inside line, and Tim just drives into the back of Dean. I only caught the end of the John Andrews Max Mulder one as well, but it looked like Max was two wheels on the gravel trying to lap John Andrews. Absolutely crazy, and we said in qualifying about the traffic around this circuit, Dan. Well, here we go.
Well, before all this happened, I was going to mention that probably the one thing that could affect the top two is traffic, and it has.
It massively. Dennis Hansen's dropped off the back of Graham. Paul Williams has gained on Kieran. What's happened to Argent? He's down behind Gooday and Winter. And here comes Paul Williams now.
Diz is now passing Jackal. He's on the outside and looks to try and do it around the outside going into turn 4. Couldn't get the job done, and I think the damage of his car is hampering him here, and he's not able to use the BMW grunt that he would normally have underneath him, and obviously the further and further he gets up the order, the more and more difficult it's going to get to pass cars.
It is going to be more and more difficult to pass cars. Max Mulder leads this race, and from Tim Venting, 0.8 of a second is that gap, but Tim's got front end damage. Graham's managed to pull away from Dennis Hansen. That's a car off. Not sure who that is. That's Dean Wysocki. So clearly struggling with a possible rear damage on his car. Borough Bex, has he just got going? He has, after just being now passed by Dean Wysocki. Justin Winter's about to lap him. Diz still on the back of the Jackal. Paul Williams still on the back of Kieran Argent. But this race, we've had 18 minutes, and it has been so crazy already at the moment.
Yeah, it's been more drama in this than there has been in the entire night of GT4s. Very different drama. A lot of cars going off and making contact here, but the GT4s was very close racing. Yeah, it's all sorts of chaos, and I think a lot of these cars. Oh, Argent nearly dropped it.
Well, you're watching the same thing as I am then, because Argent there, a very scary moment as Diz is going to try once again around that outside line, possibly, because he's not got the run. Jackal's going to force him to the outside line then, coming down to the same corner he was at a moment ago. Jackal holds the inside. Diz this time breaks a little earlier, tries to cut back underneath. Jackal, why's that? And you just get the feeling that when Diz pulls out of that slipstream, that front end damage that he's carrying on that BMW is just affecting him slightly.
Yeah, it's got to be. I mean, he's racing against another fellow BMW driver, and that BMW looks pretty clean, and he just can't find a way through at the minute. And Jackal doesn't need to get out of the way either. He's happy to stay where he is. He's basically a reserve driver this season, even though he can only make the feature races, which is nice to see. He fills the grid, but yeah, Diz just has no answer at the minute. He needs to find a mistake or something to get through. Meanwhile, Max Mulder and Tim matching one another at the front within 7 or 8 tenths, and Richie Michel has been bringing that gap down, so Max hasn't got the pace.
Max doesn't have the pace of Tim, and does he have the pace of Richie Michel? That's the question. Has Richie Michel gained through the carnage of the back markers? Currently watching the Jackal being able to just stay ahead, and is that Kieran Argent losing that to Paul Williams? Yes, it is. Paul Williams gets past Kieran Argent there. So that front end damage clearly just causing him a little too much pain. They're coming up to lap Dean Wysocki, and Ian Gray pit winner isn't even open yet, and most of the cars look battered. Indeed they do, as Tim takes a bit more time out of Max Mulder so far. They've got a clear road. Who is the 28? That's Senna, who I thought they heart in mouth, as I thought Senna was going to rejoin on them.
Imagine that. They would not be happy in their own
body. Oh, could you imagine?
Oh, man, that would have been the debrief of the season. The Netflix boys would have to be rushing down there and seeing them and having an inter-chat discussion. But Dean Wysocki in the front of this train I'm watching with Diz has just been stuck behind the Jackal, and the Jackal's not moving. As Dean Masaki coming to shot there, but he was well out the way. But
didn't want no part of that one again, did he?
Yeah, you don't want to hit another BMW. But the Jackal is just keeping his car strong, keeping it in check, and Diz just has no answer. With that damage, he runs wide, loses the rear.
Yeah, I think you're right there, Dan. I think that what Diz has got here is he's got a car that's now got to drivers on his pace with that damage. So the minute he pulls out of that slipstream, we know Diz is a quicker driver. The minute he pulls out of that slipstream, it's hurting him. As Jackal taps Argent! Argent keeps going, Jackal lets him have the place, but Argent loses out, and that is the opening, and Diz walks straight through and steals 2 positions there. Dean very twitchy in the background as Porovex gets back through. There are so many battered cars, and we've still got at least a minute and a half. Yellow flag, that is car 28, I believe that is Senna once again. It is. He is stationary, returns to the pit lane. That's going to be a 2-minute plus wait. And then he's got to go around again for his mandatory pit stop. So Senna there putting himself in a precarious position. That is 23. That is Mark Tucker, who's already a couple of laps down.
Yeah, so the new challenge for the leaders is just avoiding spinning cars at this rate, as I do think we could have... I can't predict who's going to win this race at all.
Anybody's game. And as the old legendary commentator Sticky used to say, they're spinning more than a Kylie Minogue record. There you go.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
God.
You love
Feels
it.
like he's here. Half a second now. The top 2 separated, and they're in the middle of traffic as well. So Tim Vensink and Max have got to either work together and clear this traffic, which they have done one. They've now got to clear the 18, which is Diego Flores, who hasn't got the best internet either. So they're going to have to try and maneuver their way around the Porsche as best they possibly can.
Well,
and Max carries a lot of speed into the corkscrew.
Whoa! Then he drives into the back of Diego! I think he carried more speed than he realised there and nearly clips the back of Diego. Diego stays off and lets Tim through, and they both run a little wide. These two are gunning it at the moment. Tim looked a little loose. He's nearly hit his teammate. He's nearly hit his teammate. Diego's into the pits 4 seconds too soon. And the pit window will now open. Richie Michelle stays out. What will Graham do? As Graham's nearly on the back of Brian Craig. Oh my days, back markers everywhere at the minute. Surely Graham will stay out. Dennis, he's also going to stay out. Justin Winter will as well. What about John Gooday? He's straight in, wants no part of this. Paul Williams will probably think the same thing. Probably one of the cleanest cars on the track. Number 7 has had a spin. That is Bjarklund. Diz as well, Dan. Straight into the pits, not messing around. Get it done, get out.
Yeah, get that repair done, get back on track, and yeah. Literally, even pitting right now. Even pitting right now isn't a good thing, because even though you're coming in the pits, you could end up in back markers. Yeah. I mean, a lot of the cars are coming into the pits. A lot of them have got damage. DJ Phil getting out of the way of Graham and Dennis Hansen, who are being caught by Justin Winter. Justin Winter always seems to have a couple of scuffs on those Porsche, and it seems to make him quicker.
I tell you what, I could do with a beer here, because this is... Naval Gomez is in the pits. Cranky stays out.
I could do with the popcorn.
Oh, honestly, 28 seconds worth of damage, says Diz. Now the question is, with it being so cold, is it worth a tyre change? Who knows? Only them drivers will. This is absolutely fascinating stuff, though, at the minute. DJ Phil's on the back of Justin Winter. John Gooday, the first man to finish his stop and come out of the pits. And Max Mulder, where is he? He's just gone past the start line. And Tim, after running wide...
Oh, he says probably a stop and go.
Well, let's see. Let's see.
And go.
He's on his way out now. So this could be huge.
Oh, this is going to be nervous.
If this is a stop and go, that's his race done. No! Still in this race!
Yes, he's still in this. He's got a lot of work to do, though. But he's in the traffic.
I was just about to say, look at what has come out at him. And for those who can't quite see at the moment, on my screen, I'm just going to enlarge that map. Diz is the red dot. Look at the cars in front of him. Max Mulder's the triangle. Look at his traffic. This is going to be chaos at the moment. Everybody needs to leave, get these blue flags out of the way. I am absolutely... I'm flabbergasted at all of this. This is absolutely... Yes, stunning.
Blue flags means nothing because some of these cars are cars he'll have to race. DJ Phil is one of them. I think, yes, it was the correct thing to do to get the damage done, but you need to make sure you clear this traffic. And there's contact in turn 1, the 44.
That's Gomez and Dean, and them two's just left the pit lane.
Where is Dean on this? Dean...
23rd, stationary at the moment. He is stationary at the moment. Luckily, that car is just pointing offline. Here comes Dennis Hansen. I believe Sutty's bailed to the pits. Yes, he has.
Oh, God. This is... we're in America, and we're doing Demolition Derby right now. I don't know where to look, because every time I see to go on a car, there's a car having a moment.
Yeah.
Robert, I just got to Robert, and he's having a moment on his own. He started from pit lane, and he's only 9 seconds behind the Jackal.
Came into the lobby as everybody was coming through the final corner of the formation lap, and now he's running P9. Yes, he's got to pit, but running P9. The Jackal and Kieran Argent now having a scrap out there on the circuit. Tim's not been able to catch Max. Richie's not been able to catch Tim. The Jackal's on the rear of Kieran Argent. Jackal's having a good little race. Diz still on the back of DJ Phil. This is for position. DJ Phil can be a nuisance. He can be a nuisance. And Diz is finding that out. DJ Phil drops a wheel on the grass. And Diz, thank you and good night. Where's Senna? Did Senna come back out?
Argent's had a big moment. Argent's had a massive
Whoa,
moment.
another one.
Oh my God. He swung from one side to the other, and the Jackal just anchored on the brakes, and it swung in front of him twice.
So Kieran Argent, huge damage. Where's Robert Smith? He's approaching. Kieran Argent, stop, go, Graham! No! No! You was fourth, and you've got to stop, go. That is probably the heartbreak of the day.
Graham.
What did we... Spooky Laguna we used to call it. I believe Kelly used to name it Spooky Laguna for rear wings falling off and all sorts. Absolutely bonkers this circuit is. We keep coming back and it brings absolutely entertaining race. Not the most best, not the most cleanest and best racing, but some entertaining racing. Daniel Francis, I believe, come out the pit lane and and rear wing
glances. He doesn't even tap it. He just glances it.
And rear wing just boop, off it comes. And away he goes. Justin Winters now on the back of Dennis Hansen. Well, them two pretty much running 4th and 5th now. Sutty's got a stop-go penalty. Argent is in for the long haul here. And I tell you what, Graham might be able to do his stop-go and come out ahead of Argent.
He's got deep into the
He has. And look at this, John Gooday's fighting hard to pass him when he's got a stop go. DJ Phil's now in the pits. Borough Bex has still got a pit. Senna's got a pit. Mark Tucker's got to pit. Sutty's got to pit for a stop go. I think Dan's crying. I don't know if he's taking the headset off to wipe his tears away or what, but oh my. Justin Winter on the back of Dennis Hansen. They've just lapped another McLaren. I don't know who's a lap down. I don't know who's on what lap. All we know is Max Mulder leads this race.
Yeah. Well, I know the top 3 haven't really changed, but ever since they're backwards, it's gone crazy. Justin Winter is right on the rear wing of Hansen, and he nearly hits him in the final corner.
Hey, bonkers, he's got the cutback though, and coming down the start straight, Justin Winter is now side by side. Sutty's in for his stop-go penalty. It's Porsche versus McLaren. They nearly touch each other again, and Justin Winter's coming up the inside. Now they touch each other, and off they go.
Oh, I think that was a bit cheeky from Winter there.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. They bump again, and now Hansen puts him off the road a bit more. Yeah, that's tit for tat now. That's become tit for tat.
Yeah, steady, boys. You've had your door banging. That's it now. And to be fair, there's not much paintwork left on Justin Winter's car. What they've been busy fighting. I think it's what Brian Craig has caught onto the back of him. No, Mark Tucker.
Yeah, Mark Tucker's caught onto the back of him. I don't think that's for position, though, is it? No, that's Tucker trying to unlap himself. Sutty's completed his drive-through and is off the limiter. Kieran Argent still stationary in the pits. DJ Phil is about to come and possibly...
Justin Winter and Dennis Hansen have come together, and Dennis is heavy into the wall.
He is, and Diz now coming to unlap himself. These obviously haven't pitted yet. Dennis Hansen with damage to the front of that car. This is absolutely crazy. Can we have a fun league where Pro-Am do Laguna Seca every week in GT4s? At this rate, we'll have to give them the BMW M2s. They're a little slower. Dennis Hansen straight into the pits. Richie Michel's in the pits. He's had a very quiet race, hasn't he, Richie Michel? Not really seen him. Not really spoken about him. Just kind of there, plodding along in P3. Like a good little chap. And doing nothing wrong. Borough Beck still to pit. He's carrying on his way. As then is Cranky and Robert Smith. Robert Smith, P7. What a drive. The Jackal moving up the order a little bit due to pit stops. Justin Winters now third. Tim and Max still to pit at the moment. Max now coming up to traffic. Maybe it's time for him to bop into the pit lane. And, you know, this has been bonkers. Absolutely bonkers. Cranky's nearly dropped it into Max.
Oh God! I try to be professional here and not laugh, but this has been. I'm feeling a little.
You at times have
happened.
to. You know, it's been one of them where you kind of just think, yeah, as professional as you got to be. It is kind of comical. Yeah.
The thing is, as well, whatever happens to the Pro-Ams usually tends to go the opposite way for the pros.
Tomorrow night will be squeaky clean.
Yeah. Squeaky clean, no issues. I mean, I'm saying that now, and it's going to be an absolute nightmare.
Tracy's saying it's the craziest race. I think you might be right, to be fair. This has been... Oh, Borough Bex has now tapped Diego. And Diego straight on at the corkscrew. Stays out the wall. Here comes Diz to put a lap on the pair of them. Where is that? Robert Smith. That's Robert Smith. He's got damage on his car. I do believe it's Robert Smith. I hope so. He's got through either way. Justin Winter now pits. Oh my days. Graham's 13th. Where's Hansen? He came out P10. Where's Diz? Diz close to the back of him, not a million miles away. Sector times will update. And Justin Winter and Jackal in the pits. So Diz has unlapped himself from them two at least now as well.
This has just been one of the wackiest races I've ever watched. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Might cancel your weekend plans. We're busy.
Yeah, you boys are going to be busy for this weekend. I thought we were going to have it bad in the GT4, so we got that done and dusted pretty quickly.
Let's see. PN saying that it better be squeaky clean. Obviously, PN and Hypertech will be stewarding tomorrow night for the Pro Series. I myself will be helping them out if needs be. Might be too busy this week. PN, you and John are going to have to do it on your own. But Diz here now gaining on the back of Dennis Hansen. That's a second at the moment. Borough Beck still getting close to Diego Flores, but Borough Beck has got to pit in this race. Senna's still got to pit as well. Mark Tucker's coming out the pits, and that's great from Mark Tucker there. He's a lap down to Justin Winter and the Jackal, who are both leaving pits at the same time, and he just moves out to both their way. Cranky Duckhead still to pit as well. Cranky Duckhead's 5th, and Max and Tim Tim's about to lap him. Max already lapped him. He's 5th.
Yeah.
So
it's Max is he's got quite a comfortable lead now. All the chaos seems to have calmed down, unless you're behind the number 57 of John Andrews. Then there seems to be quite a queue behind him, and there's a lot of cars there, including the likes of DJ Phil and all in that group as well. So.
Diz is off. Diz is off. Did he get past Dennis? I believe he has. I'm not sure if they've touched each other. I'm going to watch this back on the stream. I don't know if they've touched each other there.
Massive off or just...
Dennis and Diz. Diz has definitely got front end damage. There was definite contact, I'm guessing.
Possibly so. Robert Smith now in, and Tim Venting and Max Mulder is risking it another lap here. Even the Cranky Duckhead has come in this lap. Max is the last one to pit. Borough Beck's in as well. Senna still has to do his stop, but I think Senna's...
So I've just looked back on my monitor that Hansen's had his own little moment after hitting the curb and just taps the front of Diz as Diz carried the speed through. DJ Phil's leaving the pits. This is currently Paul Williams trying to gain on... I don't even know who he's trying to gain on anymore. The Jackal, I think it is. Who's late on the brakes. Mrs. Brian Craig. John Gooday currently now up to P4. Richie Michel P3. Tim Venting's leaving the pits. He's not repaired his damage. He laps Cranky Duckhead in the pits. And Max Mulder still to pit. Max could probably get another lap in after this.
Tim's coming to the end of the pit lane, and Richie Michel's only now coming into the final sector. or coming into the final few corners. So Tim has got quite a healthy gap there. So really, if Tim and Max can survive this, no one's really taking this top 2 away from them.
No, not at all. They've just got to make sure everything's right. Max Mulder's now coming into the pit lane, so it looks like it could be a BSP 1-2 at the moment, and they're looking good for the value for their money. John Gooday's 4th, Justin Winters 5th, the Jackal P6, Paul Williams is in 7th place, Robert Smith P8, Diz P9, Dennis Hansen P10, Darren Bell P11, Cranky Duckhead P12. From then that of Michael. And then any battles? DJ Phil still in the pits. John Andrews is in the pits. Senna's now into the pits.
Any battles? The battles is just surviving one
just
another.
Anybody, anywhere, anyone. John Andrews leaving the pit lane now. Dean's on the same lap as him. Where's Dean? Half a lap behind. So Dean's got a bit of work to do to catch John Andrews in this race. John Andrews now off the limiter. Dean is at the corkscrew. So Dean about a sector behind, just under a sector behind. Yeah, so that's going to be an interesting one for Dean to catch up on. Max Mulder's now on his way out the pit lane. The problem for Max is, I say the problem, look at that gaggle of cars that Max will be on in a lap or two's time. Right. Oh, my days.
But luckily for him, the car
that's DJ Phil's got a stop go.
The car that's leading that gaggle of cars is P5.
Yeah, he is. He is.
So, him and Tim have got a healthy lead. They're both into turn they're into turn 2 as Richie Michelle goes up towards turn 1, and John Goudet is only now coming into the penultimate corner. So their closest rivals are nowhere near him, but they could still have a moment. But this is the spooky Laguna. Anything can happen.
This is spooky Laguna. Anything can happen.
There's a car
anything
off.
Probably will happen. That is the 68. That is, I'm not quite sure. I was just trying to work something out. Borough Bexen, who was off. Who is close to anybody? Where's Diz?
Oh, John Andrews is in the middle of the corkscrew.
Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. Where's John Andrews? I need to find him. I'm trying to pour myself a drink. The camera can't pick him up, so he must be off the road somewhere.
Where he is. He's got to go.
Oh my God, how much would your heart have been in your mouth there? Just to say, Max Mulder's catching Phil, who's just peeled off into the pits, and now Borough Beck. So anything can happen in this race. This has been bonkers.
Diz has gone from the back of the pack with Robert Smith, and then now 8th and 9th, and together. And Paul Williams and the Jackal are just in front of him. Justin Winters a little bit further ahead, but the pair of them could pass these two.
The pair of them could pass these two. So this is going to be an interesting one. John Andrews
Smith moves out of the way.
Unlaps himself, I believe, from DJ Phil, who's in for his stop-go penalty, so that's going to hurt him. Max Mulder there then. There's Tim Ventic getting past Darren Bell. Richie Michelle coming up to car number 7. That is Jacques Lund. John Gooday's way behind him. He's coming up to lap Sutty. He must be able to paint us a lovely picture of that BMW because he's been behind him enough in this race. Oh, then it is Justin Winter. Then we've got the Jackal, Paul Williams. Diz is now P8. And like you say, Diz trying to get on the back of Paul Williams. Now he's got a teammate in Robert Smith. Robert will be able to probably, even if he's got pace, just say, Diz, I'm going to sit behind you. I'm going to stay patient. This is for you, man. You know, you're in the championship. I'm not at the minute, and we're not in the constructors.
Yeah, it's just his rear gunner now. That's what it is. And they're building a relationship possibly to allow them to come back to Pro-Am. But if Diz wins the championship or finishes within the top 5, I believe we were talking about, and you're possibly looking at promotion and demotions into the Pro and Pro-Am. So Robert Smith probably signed a new contract with a team, and he's probably going to be losing his teammate maybe in a couple weeks' time. Unless Robert Smith can get himself in.
Where is Robert Smith? He's up to 9th. You know, a couple of points off the back of Brian Craig and Borough Bex. He's going to outscore well today, so he's not far off that wrecking there neither. Yeah, so let's wait and see. Argent is on the back of Paul Williams. Well, Argent needs to move because he's now being blue flagged by Diz, and it's 3 corners. That was 1. That is 2. Although I can't actually see any blue flags. Dean's off, so Dean's let them go. Dean's pulled right onto the gravel. Doesn't want another one. Right, there's 1 blue flag. There's 2 blue flags. Does the corkscrew count as 2 corners? So he's definitely getting the blue flags now. So that's 1 corner, 2 corners. Argent's not moving here. Now pulls to that inside line. and lets Diz go. So, Argent left that a little late.
I think it was fair with the current corners that he was coming through. How difficult and how easy was it going to be to just move out of the way? Probably not the easiest. So he just waited for the best opportunity to do it, and he's allowed Robert Smith through as well. So I think that was fair from Argent. Even though the rule says 3 flags or 3 corners, you've also got to be clear. Like the corkscrew down to the bottom of the hill is 4 corners. Is it really allowing another car through there that easy?
Well, we're at the same point, and Jacques Lund's trying to catch Diego Flores, who's got Richie Michel right up the rear. And Richie's going to want to get on with this. We're watching Michael Cranky try and catch onto the back of Michael. Tim's within 3 seconds of Max. I mean, that one can pretty much hold station, really, because John Gooday's nowhere near. Richie Michel's nowhere near. Sutty's kept with John since being lapped. Diz on the back of P. Williams now. And rear gunner, like we said, Paul Williams 4.6 off the back of the Jackal. So you fancy Diz to maybe try and gain onto the back of Jackal. Paul Williams then. Bit of a clear track in front before they come up to Brian Craig. There's Jackal, there's Senna, there's Brian, there's Paul, there's Diz.
Paul Williams and Jackal have had a fantastic race.
Yeah,
let me
brilliant.
just say.
Yeah.
They usually are the ones that end up with Jackal, quite strong anyway, driver. But Paul Williams has had a pretty difficult season.
Yeah.
And it just shows that the Lamborghini is good around here. And there you go, Paul Williams is better on the brakes, but he's going to run wide, and Diz will get the position.
Dizzle gets the, Dizzle through.
Lamborghini strong here.
Very strong. Must be boding well for you tomorrow night. Dizzle now 4.4 off the back of the Jackal at the moment, and the Jackal's only 3.4 off the back of Justin Winter, so still time for Dizzle to gain some more places. Graham's 3/10 on the back of Naval Gomez. In fact, he's not 3/10, he's looking to the outside line. The Graham have ordered a sent it round there, but look at that, what smart clever driving from Graham. Tries to tuck underneath, 2 wheels on the gravel, loses all momentum. I thought that was pretty clever from Graham until he lost the momentum, which is very odd, and now he's hit a sausage curb and gone off. That is so Graham. That is so Graham. Do something brilliant, mess it up. Jacques Lund on the back of Diego Flores still. Then it's Brian Craig, who's come into the lobby, had to wait the 2 minutes. He's running 90th. Burrow Beck's DJ Phil. John Andrews will be on the same lap as DJ Phil when he crosses the line, and Dean Wysocki is a sector behind. Yes, Dan.
He's had another move. Oh, Sutty. I'm sorry.
It's been a long evening. It's been a long evening.
Mental.
24 people currently still watching the stream. 13 likes. Guys, girls, hit that thumbs up button and hit the bell to be notified if you haven't do so already. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Over 713 subscribers already. It's been absolutely fantastic. Thanks to you guys for tuning in and watching every week. As we go to the Pro tomorrow night, 8 p.m. GMT +1. We will be live. Myself and PN Motorsport will be bringing you all the action. Yes, Dan.
I'm not sure how DJ Phil's managed to do it, but he's managed to type into the Discord while driving saying that he's not happy with John Andrews. So you should be texting and driving, DJ Phil. You know this. He's had a big moment. Oh my God, I can't not look at a car having a moment. As Robert Smith now is on the back end of Paul Williams, and Argent is just sitting behind watching what's going on, and he doesn't want to get too much involved as Diz actually picks up the dust in front, and we haven't lost me. I'm just having a bit of a giggle. Senna's passing Jackal, even though Senna's down the path. There's loads of dust kicking up.
Yeah, that was in front of Senna, and I don't know who's in front of Senna.
Justin Winter.
The 204, Justin Winter, so he's the one kicking the dust up maybe. Blue flag's being flown for Senna, but Senna has just unlapped himself. He'll now be given the chance to pull away, but pull away he needs to do so because Diz is now going onto the back of the Jackal, and 5 penalty points texting while driving.
5? Is that it? You get more than that in real world.
Ian, you wasn't here for Indianapolis on Project Cars a few years ago. I won't go into it on stream, but that was an interesting one. Dan knows which one I'm referencing. As the Jackal now comes out the final corner, the gap was 3.7. Was 1.4, sorry. It is now 0.7 of a second, so this could be very interesting. Graham's on the back of Gomez once again as the camera pans around. No, Graham's in front of Gomez. Well done, Graham.
I hope he hasn't had a drink.
Senna just dropping a wheel onto the gravel. Now, Senna's now becoming a nuisance. He's unlapped himself, hasn't pulled away from the Jackal. Now he's off and wide. He's going to have to just stay there now. There's 2 cars lapping him. He does so and stays off the track. Well done to Senna. But yeah, he unlapped himself, couldn't pull away. He's now been relapped again. This was the fight before the pit stop stand. Before Dizzle had his, when Dizzle had his big damage, was Dizzle and Jackal, and we now get that fight resumed.
Yeah, we do, and obviously Dizzle with a fresher car. This should be simpler and easier, but nonetheless, Jackal has been fantastic in holding the position. What
gives you, about this evening, simple and easy about tonight's racing? Nothing in this race has been simple or easy. So this for the Dizzle will be one of the hardest things he's ever got to do, probably.
Probably only one driver's had it simple and easy, and that's probably Richie Michelle.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, he's 21 seconds behind Tim Ventink, and then I think he's another God knows how many seconds in front of John Goudet. So, yeah, I think it's been relatively easy going for Richie Michelle in race 2.
Well, the retroactive boys are putting P. Williams and the Jackal under pressure. Dizzle's just dropped off the back of P. Williams. Dizzle's dropped off the back of the Jackal a little bit. Robert Smith still gaining on the back of P. Williams.
Oh God, this race has been brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
What a fun
Diego Flores is under pressure from Lunda, who's going to try and send it in the corkscrew, but thinks better of it there. And I've never known a race like it. It's just been. Paul Williams has gone wide, and that's Robert Smith down the inside, and job done for him. And now he'll try and catch up to his teammate, who is still can't find a way past on the Jackal.
He can't. Drop down to Diego Flores, who's now got Jock Lund on the back of him. Great to see everybody still going in this race as well. That's really good to see. Yeah.
It is good. And the other problem that Dizzle was probably having a minute is Jackal's internet is a bit I
think that's just because he's in America. I think that's because he's American, as is Robert Smith and Diego Flores from Colombia. So that's possibly why the internets are a little bouncy. So let's wait and see. Tim Ventink's brought the gap down to 1.2 to Max Mulder. So that one's not done.
I don't know.
This race, Tibbs is bang on with that comment. This race is going to be a steward's nightmare. I've got to steward it.
I'm glad I said I stewarded the GT4s.
I've already gone for an early beer. It's had to be done.
I'm going for an early nap.
We are mid-Feldschlossen right now, and there could be a second and third bottle being cracked open at the end of this night.
Oh no, not the Feldschlossen.
What a crazy night.
Jackal's run wide.
Diz has got the run then, on the outside line. He's going to look to the outside, but he's looked here a couple of times before. Jackal later on the brakes, manages to stay side by side. This is brilliant racing from these two. Diz! Easy boy! And he tames the beast. Up the hill they go. Oh my days, that's all we needed was Diz to stack it in a wall.
High mouth moment there from Diz. He's looking at the corkscrew.
Tim's now within 8/10 of Max Mulder. Diz is looking at the corkscrew. And Dan reckons it, easy and simple night.
I said it should be easier and simpler for Diz to pass him, but
doesn't look that way, does it? Eh?
No.
You've got to admire this. I tell you what, driver of the day is going to be tough. Who's kept it on the road the most?
Who's got the cleanest car? And so far, it's either going to be Jackal or P. Williams.
Oh, Richie Michelle, I've not seen him in any incidents as Dizzle's going up the inside. No contact made. Great move, great racing from the pair of them. And Senna is a back marker. Yeah, Senna is a back marker, is just watching from behind. Can't do anything to get involved. Now, though, Diz has got to go 5.9 to catch Justin Winter. Tim gaining on the back of... Max has hit something.
Jackal's dropped it.
Max has hit something. He's got a bit of front-end damage. Jackal's in a wall. Robert Smith goes through. Paul Williams goes through. Jackal can now reverse and get it back going. There he goes. Oh, my days. Oh, now Max is about to lap him as well. So here we go.
How painful is that? Jackal's just been lapped by Max, and Dizzle's only in the corkscrew. So Dizzle's like... near enough 3/4 behind.
Max has got
Max.
damage from somewhere as well. I'm wondering if he's hit something. That's why he lost a load
Or
of
someone.
time to Tim. Or someone. That's why he lost a load of time to Tim. But something happened to Max Mulder, who was over 3 seconds in front, pretty much cruising. Where's Richie Michelle? He's a sector behind near enough. As they're coming down towards the line,
And then John's
Richie Michelle's
another
coming
sector
up.
behind.
Oh, wow. Tim's dropped it! Not that it's going to matter, he's got such a gap, but Tim has dropped to the rear. Well, Max's pressure's gone. And Tim has just dropped the rear of the car. Gap's 24 seconds. That might be a bit closer by the time they get to the start line.
I think that might be halved. Wait, I just saw a car flash there. Here's the 204. Justin Winter had a flash moment.
He's had a few bad connection things tonight. It's Justin. So I'm going to come off him. Any battles happening anywhere? Not that I can
There's a whole
see.
train of cars.
Cranky Duckhead's gaining on Michael again.
Yeah, this is the train of
57's
cars.
off. That's John Andrews. Oh, he's well off into the wall. Where's that? Oh, that's an interesting place to go. Dean was Soki's.
5.
That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, John Andrews in a wall. Is now only just reversing. Dean's coming through turn 4. So this could be another position for Dean. John Andrews got to wait now because the 666 is coming. No. And he's span again on rejoin. There goes a car. There goes a car. Here comes Dean. Dean gets another position. John Andrews. Not the Knights really for John. Dean through. San is 7.9 behind Max now. Probably not going to push as hard to get the race win. But it was the end of the BSP race wins, wasn't it, in race 1? Although Santa won it for the BSP Academy. But for Max and Tim as a team, they was on a bit of a roll of 1-2 finishes. I think it was 4 in a row. And that came to an end in race 1. John Andrews now at the way of Richie Michelle.
Oh, no!
I don't know who you're watching here.
I was on board with John Andrews, and Cranky Duckhead had a moment on his own, and then Lun had a moment as well, and John didn't know which way he was going and nearly went into the back of him. Oh my god. This has been caught by Robert Smith.
Yeah. So where's the Jackal gone? He had a moment, didn't he? So yeah, Diz has dropped off.
Dizzle's got damage.
Oh no, and Robert Smith's got past him as well. So Diz is 7th.
Up in front.
Jackal somewhere. That is the 23, I think it says. I can't see anything. There's a bit of smoke. It's an orange car. It's Mark Tucker. He's not had a great night. Holy moly, Mark Tucker. Oh, Max has just got through. Mark's still stationary. The 57's off again. That's John Andrews. Oh dear. Oh no.
Oh god.
I don't quite know what to say about this. Do you want to get a driver of the day poll up? I'll let you think of 4 drivers.
I don't know.
Cranky's on the back of Graham, or is I think Graham's actually just past Cranky. So Graham's up to 13th. Don't know where Michael is. He's only just a couple of corners in front. That's 6 seconds. Jackal's 5 seconds behind Paul Williams. Paul Williams 7 seconds off the back of Diz. The 23's still not on the track yet. Oh, that might be why. It's a little buggered. Return to the pit lane.
Is it losing a wheel or something?
It's just bodywork dragging everywhere, and he couldn't turn it across to the pit lane, so he's returned to the pits. That I'm not shocked about. Your running order, in case you've forgotten, is Max from Tim, from Richie Michelle, John Gooday from Justin Winter, Robert Smith from Diz, Paul Williams, Jackal Dennis Hansen from Darren Bell, Michael from Graham from Cranky Duckhead, Navel go.
What?
We've lost 3 drivers. 5 drivers.
Oh god, here we go.
Oh, Navel's had a moment. Just checking the order. Diz is up to 6th now. Justin Winter's one that's gone. He was lagging a bit anyway. We're now down to 19. And back up to 20.
So we lost Tucker? No.
Diego Flores was one that's gone.
That's a shame for him.
Yeah, Dean Wasoki's gone as well. Graham's in the pit, so I reckon he was one that's possibly gone. And we are losing drivers. And we've lost. I think we lost up to. We went to 18, I think. So we lost about. Everybody's gone.
I've gone.
Everybody's gone. Okay, right. So
That's
that is
75%.
Yeah, we have completed 75%. Right. So that is going to be confirmed race result. It will go back to the first disconnection as we did last time, and that will be the confirmed result. So, Max Mulder will win from Tim Venting, from Richie Michelle, your top 3. We won't be able to give you an updated table. We're going to have to go back through and watch it all over again. Yes, 75% race distance, so Dan. So that is that, really. That will be a full classified result.
Yeah, 4 points classified, and yeah, I mean, obviously the drivers will go based on that, and I'm currently messaging in the Pro-Am chat now just to confirm that that is that, but we will not be restarted. That is Laguna, and like I said, it's just spooky Laguna, and it's just giving us a mass disconnection. Oh God, that's mental.
Right. So I may or may not have hit a wall due to a skill issue. My arms are crossed in the straights, says Diz in the chat. Right, well, that is going to be it. We will let you get a couple more votes in on the poll. Get some votes in very quickly right now on the poll. We're not going to do the driver interviews. We are going to leave it there because obviously now me and Dan have a bit more work to sort out at this evening. But Dan, final thoughts today and driver of the day.
I'm going to give it to Paul Williams tonight, even though he says in the chat, don't give it to me, just have a disconnection, sir. But I think he's been, like, he normally has a bad week, and he's had a very good week here at Laguna Seca, and it's nice to see. But Max and Tim were strong as always. Senna had a few blips, but yeah, what can I say? That was driver of the day is Laguna Seca.
Driver of the day, are you the audience for staying tuned and watching till the very end? Because that was chaotic and dramatic and fantastic. But yeah, that is probably going to be the end of that. In fact, no, that is going to be the end of that one. There is no probably about it. That will be the end of that one. I'm going to go the way of... do you know what? I'm going to go the way of a few... I can't pick one driver of the day tonight. But yeah, Paul Williams has had a great night nonetheless. Max, Tim, Senna, even the Jackal looked pretty good as well, didn't he, at one stage in that race? He looked pretty nimble as well. So, yeah, interesting one to see. But that is going to be it for this evening's racing. Thank you all for tuning in. Don't forget, join myself and Phil Radon live tomorrow night for all the action around Spooky Laguna once again. And then Dan Davis will be back live in the commentary box next Tuesday for the Hungaroring. The weather is looking interesting, so we'll keep our eye on what this weather does throughout the weekend. But it's Hungaroring GT4's Tuesday, 8 p.m. GMT +1. Myself and Dan will be back for the Hungaroring Pro-Am, 8 p.m. GMT +1 for that. And then myself and PN Motorsport will be back for Hungaroring next week. But that was Spooky Laguna. That is the second of 3 visits. We are back tomorrow night, as we said. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and hit the bell to be notified when we go live. But thank you all for watching. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Me, man.
Oh God.
That was absolutely bonkers, and I am just jumping in the other party just to explain what's going off.
Yeah, of course.
Matthew?
There'll be no reset. Points will be scored as full points from the end.
Oh, there was only 5 minutes towards the end.
Yeah, that's why points will be scored as full.
Yeah.